Hello,
Hello.
and
Welcome.
welcome, and hello, Callisto, and glad that you uh, are able to hit us. Oh, nobody can hear us. I just realized.
Oh, really? Oh.
I
I
just.
could hear myself. No, I could just hear my audio off the stream that I had open in another tab,
Oh.
so I
Oh
think it's
no.
working.
Okay, we can hear. Okay, I I know what I did. Now it's fine. I fixed it.
Yeah.
It wasn't that, but anyway. Hello. Uh, everything is my my shit is so ridiculous now. With the
Oh, you're set. Oh, yeah. Oh,
my setup.
Maddie has really established a lot of new assets for the stream. This is the Freak of the Week stream, which means we're going to be looking at lots of animals. It's really the week of freaks, I guess, is
This,
more accurate.
yeah.
But,
Why
but it's
did we
to
think of that?
introduce. I don't know.
That's
I
very
don't
good.
know. Our brains are not good, but but it's to introduce what will become a recurring segment,
Yep.
which is called the Freak of the Week, where we'll just have a singular freak. We're gonna look at a lot of freaks this week, but it'll be a recurring segment. But so Maddie made this amazing bumper um,
Should
to
we
announce
do
the
we okay,
freaks.
so I first of all, before we get into that, I know hello to everybody in the chat. Happy Friday.
Yes,
Hello,
hello,
hello people.
hello Callisto, hello Eric, hi Chubby Kumquat, it's Farrar, Panuli.
Yes. I wanted to quickly show you, and it's not even finished, but I want to show you guys my stream setup because it's much closer to what I've been wanting. And what I really want is advice. If anyone has any advice for how to do this better or any tips, and there's a couple things that I still need to do. So, um, so basically, so I have, so we'll go to this.
Oh, hey
So
Ginkgo, welcome.
so I have OBS, obviously, right? But
Yes.
I have been wanting to do bumpers. So basically, this is the thing that I've been trying to do since the beginning. And now I have an iPad rigged up. Can you see that? Yeah. So I have an iPad rigged up that is running an app called Touch Portal. And so now when I press any of these buttons,
Up yours, woke moralists.
we get a bumper.
Oh, there he is, the man himself.
The man himself. He's a permanent part of the stream now. Anytime I can always press that. And so setting this up was very annoying because I had some requirements. First of all, I didn't want to do it in OBS because I didn't want to have to redo it for every scene. And I apologize, this is going to be kind of technical. Yes, Eric, I am going to need to get a second button that does the full thing, that does the full.
That would
We'll see who cancels who.
that would be also a really good like piss course, like if we're having like a debate
Yeah,
where we're really point counterpoint CNN crossfire, we're taking different points. We'll see who cancels who, or for
yeah.
the autism versus ADHD
Yes,
stream.
that could be the goal. Um,
JP has freaked the century. That's
yeah.
true.
Oh my god, we should watch some of his videos. Now the rats.
Honestly, I would watch. I mean, I probably shouldn't watch any more of his content than I already
Oh my
have, but
god,
I
I
would do that.
know. I've only seen like the supercut of that. So basically, I didn't want to have to repeat all of this shit in every scene. So what I have is I have another second fucking OBS
Oh my
that is
god.
that is running.
Multi-track drifting.
Yes, that basically this has uh a window. Yeah, probably not Discord server is where we're at right now. Um
I don't want that responsibility. I'm really not trying to start a cult, and I definitely don't want to create a PvP uh, brawl environment that I don't get to even fight with people.
yeah.
That's my Tumblr ass box. That's where I fight with people.
But yeah. So this is a second OBS window, and I am recording a projector, so you can see this green screen. And so this is where
Up yours, woke
That's
that
where
moralists.
he lives.
that's where
JP lives in the green zone.
yes. um and so you got it. Um
Yep.
so yeah. Um anyway, I maybe I'm wondering if there's a better way to do this. And part of the thing is also that I need to get a pro version of Touch Portal. So, but you have to do that over. Um, you have to do that through the App Store. And this iPad is an iPad 2, literally the second iPad. And it doesn't, I can't purchase things through the store because the fucking update your credit card information screen doesn't work. So
Oh my
I
god.
have to get the
It's
full,
so old.
yeah. So anyway, if
But
any,
I think it's pretty amazing, like to have like a piece of technology that used to be like an entire computer that's like more
yes,
advanced than like the NASA space station, like to
yes,
just have Jordan Peterson say up yours woke moralist
absolutely. Um,
on stream.
so yeah, if anyone has any ideas of how to do this better, I this that might not be a full explanation. There's other shit, but yeah. um I'm very excited to have this technology, especially because um especially because what we're going to do this week is really important.
Employee of the week,
Yes.
freak of the week,
I, I
or creep.
when we made this when we came up with this segment, did you know there was a song?
I had no idea. I thought I had invented the phrase freak of the week. It turns out Pete Campbell from Mad Men Voice. I had arrived at it independently. Turns out it already existed, but I had arrived at it independently. But Funkadelic, in fact, has a song called Freak of the Week.
It's really good, by the way. Just go
It's thanks.
go and listen to that. The proudest thing that I did, that the thing that I'm proudest of with that is that they don't actually say freak of the week for like 10 seconds in. So I cut that and moved it forward, which hopefully will be enough to that we don't get flagged on YouTube when we upload this, but we shall see.
Copyright strike of the week.
Basically at this point. So anyway,
So yes, big things coming. Whoever was that said that Maddie's basically like a DJ or a VJ, disc jockey, a stream jockey, chubby kumquat.
yes.
Exactly. She's developed all the assets. We're running a public access network in here.
That's the yes, absolutely. Uh my friend Joe, and when they were in the chat the other day, they were like, they said YouTube live YouTube poop remixing, which is absolutely the goal. That's a long way away, but that's the goal.
That yeah, that much. Well, I think the thing that you were talking about, the like ratio stream where it's like I don't think we've talked about this on screen before, but Maddie
No.
has this concept for everyone where we would do a live stream and then we would for the next live stream have a video reacting to that video and then we would have a video reacting to that reaction video and so on
Yeah. Yeah,
until it was like 8 hours long.
yeah, because you pause to like say shit about it. So it'd start with like 20 minutes. And then it just a worst idea of all time podcast kind of thing where uh so
Very, yes, very esoteric.
we've got goals.
We got ideas.
So
So
yeah,
let's look at some fucking freaks.
yeah, let's look at some freaks. Um what were
Now
you
I have, yeah, I think this weird showering rat is a great one to start with. I can pull up the video or I can send it to you. Um, because it's really got everything. It's
Yeah.
very cryptic and scary. It really inspired debates over whether it was real or not at first, as well as the reaction that you always see um, when people actually don't search its name. Oh
Okay.
wait, yeah, no, showering rat is actually exactly what you should search because this inspired debates over whether it was a real animal, whether it was being abused. You know, those are things that always come up whenever you see a weird animal doing something weird. People are like, "This animal's under distress," even if it's just like a
Heck,
bunny with a mustache or something. You
yeah.
know? So okay, I think I think the first video is yeah.
That looks like the right one.
Bizarre rat watches like human.
Oh my god.
He
What?
just let me for real. Except cleaner. He scrub his ass.
He really does scrub his ass. Look at his little eyeballs.
He looks so bored. He looks like he's getting ready for work.
Thank you for this slow-mo repeat too. That's really helpful. It's really is the this
The
and like
gesticulation.
yeah. Oh,
He's so human.
what a
And
king.
people were like, and we can even check out the comments here and see just like if people
Comments are
want to
turned
like
off. Yep.
something happened here.
Yeah. So this is a Pacarana?
Pacarana, yeah. And so now if you search his name on YouTube, his name, then you'll find another video in, I think it's Mexico or Central America where they are, where it's like, listen, this is them. Yeah, look, Pacarana bathing in the wild, no soap.
Oh my god, yeah, he just does that.
He just likes to do that. That's just how he relates to the world. Look at all these 40s on the table, too. Like, what? This papaya juice or like what?
Oh, do you think he's selling that? He's got a little
He's
bag.
selling,
I
he's
really
either selling it. Yeah,
I think that this
something.
is like a stand where they're selling those and he's like
He's accepting the money. Yeah.
oh my god, he's a little shopkeeper. He's gonna leak the no-fly list.
This man can't be trusted. He's so big.
He's so big. But he just looks like a mouse or a rat. He looks like a
Yeah, he's like a
big
big
mouse.
dump truck. Yeah.
What is that, a
Animal
ravioli?
Crossing NPC. I think they're giving him an orange or something. Or wait.
It's like
Oh
a
no,
ravioli.
it's a fucking pizza puff.
Oh, look at him.
Look at his peaceful eyes. He looks so relaxed. Yeah, he's got capybara eyes. One Brie for sure.
And
And now he's
teethers.
scratching again. Animal Crossing NPC.
Yes.
Yeah, he's just like Brewster who runs the coffee shop. Except he's selling Coca-Cola. Oh, Chubby Kumquat, you have rats? Please send me photos or
Yes.
videos.
I think both of us would always like to see videos of your animals or pictures of your animals, so.
Yes. But especially if they're rodents for me. I love all animals, but the more they're like a little thing like that, you know.
Yes.
He's scratching.
What a
It
good.
does seem like he's running a business, but people can't get over how adorable he is, and so he's not being taken seriously as a businessman.
He needs a little tie or like a.
He's
Hurt
holding
ones
their
are brats
hand.
and they fight and piss. That's I think that's our favorite. Brats that
Yeah,
fight
I
and
like when they
piss.
piss. Yeah.
So let's look up about these guys.
Yes. Because I had never heard of them before, and I thought I knew rodents.
So that's a big part of this is for me is I want to find weird little guys and then like learn about them because Oh, look at this. These guys look.
Wow.
Yeah, these
It
guys.
almost has like anteater kind of markings on its body.
Yeah, these guys look different.
Yeah, I wonder if that was like a different subspecies or like a baby Pacarana that was taking that shower.
Yeah, here's just the picture.
Oh my God.
Yeah, look at these guys.
That's great.
That
It's
coloring is.
like it's like capybara, anteater, pangolin. Him is munching.
Munch. Look at him
Him
munch
sure fucking
banana.
is. Oh my God, look at his phalanges.
He
Look
reminds.
at his awful posture.
He just reminds me of like if not the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles master.
Splinter.
Yeah, if Splinter had like a stoner cousin that they went to, like when Splinter was being like getting them too riled up, like you need to visit my brother, the Packarina. And he's just like, I'm gonna teach you how to chill and not worry about Shredder.
Like this man lives in a sewer, but not for any reason. Like just because he didn't pay his rent, you know, like not because he's hiding mutant superhero turtles
Yeah.
that are doing anything. You know, that's just his lifestyle.
Posture, minding all of us posture check. Yep. Beaver but
Oh my God,
autistic.
beaver but autistic. Beavers are already pretty autistic.
Yeah, they
They
build.
build. They builders.
They stem on the wood. They like
Yeah, they be stimming on that wood.
um
Same.
just gonna say you showed a little bit. You need to show off your sweater, by the way, because it's extremely
Oh yeah.
important.
Speaking of freaks, look
Oh
at this.
God.
Oh,
National Wildlife
yes.
Federation.
This is not an endorsement of what I'm sure is a horrible nonprofit, but look at the drip of
Oh,
it all.
I didn't even think about that. Hopefully they're just dead and don't exist anymore.
They made hell of shirts back in the day, like those like dolphin shirts, manatee shirts, you know, like
Oh. Did
this
they
is the
do
look of the 90s.
did they do like the Three Wolves shirts, or is that different?
No, that's like a company that just does that just because they like Three Wolves. I definitely saw it. They had some of their stuff at Mars Cheese Castle, that company. They also have like a three alien one.
Oh damn.
Oh yeah. Look at these drips. Oh,
Ah,
look at that deer one. Oh shit.
look at that shit.
Oh, oh my God. The Northern Lights.
Oh fuck.
It's fucking sick.
Those colors.
Okay.
Where was
Oh
the
my
deer
God, the
one?
green
This one?
ones. No, there's one down on the left.
Oh
That's
yeah.
like an eBay link. Yeah. Solid. Ever vigilant.
I love how fucked up like the print is at this point too, like that crinkly shitty print.
Hmm. Yeah, it's got like a little bit of a fraying in it, like cracks in the,
Mm-hmm.
which
Ugh.
is just really satisfying. Only $25, damn.
Yeah, that's a good deal.
Clearly, I'm gonna have to hop on
So
Poshmark and shit.
let's check out the Wikipedia for this guy
Yeah, let's learn
before we.
about Panuli says, I missed my train in the tiniest village ever, but there was a nature park and I walked towards a bridge and there's just four independent people stopped on it. And I was like, damn, what's going on? And there were two beavers playing with each other and like brawling in the water.
Oh,
Beavers, unite.
oh, beavers are so fucking good.
The great American beaver.
Uh, so
We love them.
native Tupi people call it the Pacarina false paca because it's similar, superficially similar to the paca. Oh, who's
Oh,
another very cute little guy.
look at that little face. Ooh. Almost like a chevrotain mouse deer freak. Oh yeah, they just linked to a Chevertain. Yeah, so it's related.
Look
Oh,
at his little smile. Okay, this is gonna
I
be
love
so
them.
hard to like.
This is really ADHD poison. Try to navigate Wikipedia.
All right, let's go back to this guy though. There's not a lot on here.
Okay, so they're from South America.
Mm-hmm.
They have four limbs and large heads.
Yeah. Grasp their food with four paws while sitting on their hind legs. Let's check out. There's a 11 peculiar pecorana facts.
It
Not.
carries some weight with it. It's one of the largest rodents.
Uh,
Hefty.
they're nocturnal. So all the videos we're seeing are probably annoyed that it's the day.
That's why they were having to give him Coca-Cola.
Yeah, caffeinate. Terrible. They're known as the terrible mouse.
The terrible, the most fearsome mouse.
The scientific family name Dinomydia means you might recognize dino from terrible lizard dinosaur.
Terrible mouse. So
That's
they're the dinosaur mice. The big
that's
mice.
that's a good furry username right there. Dinomydia.
Yes. Did you speaking of, did you miss the mouse girl sexy mouse girl discourse on Tumblr? Was that I think that was right before you joined.
I think so. What was the is this a piss course segment? Do we have
It's very brief. I mean, if
I
you
gotta
wanna let it
launch the
loose,
thing. We'll
but
we'll go to our first piss course.
let me see if I can find it.
Um, um, and I do have to call you out, Devin, and say when I showed Devin this bumper for the first time, what did you say? You said making me thirsty.
Making me thirsty. It's like, ooh, I'm thirsty for the piss course.
um,
Oh, okay, so this piss course was about. Okay, I'll pull up the Tumblr post. It's a screenshot of a Tumblr post. Oh God. Um, but I'll just. It looks horrible, like the format, but that's on brand for us, so I'll just send it to you. Basically, the debate is whether or not the phrase "mouse girl" is horny.
oh my
But
god,
I'll let the philosophers weigh in. Somebody deactivated because of this, so
that's really good. Okay, if you
so
went
if you went to a bar and the bartender was a mouse girl, you could ask for a drink and she would balance it on her head and say, "For you, it's on the mouse."
I've seen this. Okay, this is starting because that I definitely did see, and
And then Megapope, who deactivated because of this,
oh,
said,
the crazy thing about this is that it took one single word to turn it horny. Could have been a normal and cute post. Could have taken the high road and conjured a delightful image of a mouse scampering down the bar with a beer 10 times its size balance on its head, but you had to say mouse girl and not mouse. Don't pretend this isn't what's going on either. I know the score. I know what's up. I'm familiar with this sort of semantic trick. You want to fuck down on an anime girl with certain characteristics of a rodent, and everyone's gotta know.
"Mouse
Oh.
girl." Oh, hey, Jen, we're talking about whether or not the phrase "mouse girl" is inherently horny right now.
Yes, happy Friday. Thank you.
Yes, enjoy gardening.
Oh, that's
It's
great.
snowy here, so.
It's still. I wonder if I can get. I meant to take a picture. I wonder if you can see. Oh, is this gonna work? Can you see out my window? Nope, it's just
Oh,
blaring
yeah, it's too
white.
bright.
But
Yeah.
it is like a one of those paintings of like wood and snow paintings right now at my house. It's
Yeah.
perfect.
Happy little trees.
Mm-hmm.
The little dusting on them. Jen says that Mouse Girl is obviously horny.
I uh The AI girl is trying to break into my system. Joke's on her. She's about to learn that programming can't match expert and experience and skill. Deletes their keyboard and mouse drivers.
Great post,
Yes.
OP. I like how it's a girl makes me happy. I like how it's a girl, it makes me happy.
Yeah.
So
Uh,
then Mega Pope deactivated because everyone was like, "What's wrong with you that you think calling it a mouse girl makes it horny?"
there is there's like, is there a word for the equivalent of a furry egg? I think there
Would
is, but
that
I.
be what is it called when like a marsupial comes out and it's still a fetus? Because that would be my vote. You're a furry, but you're an egg.
Joey. They're called Joeys.
Joey.
Well, that's the baby of a.
Oh,
That's not the specifically the fetus, but that's
the
like.
fetal state. It might just be called a fetus. I don't know if there's like a phrase for when they come out not fully developed.
But I do like Joey. That's pretty fucking cute.
It's like that green M&M, Jen says. Yes. It's the like by taking something since male is considered neutral in society. If you put a bow on something, then it's immediately more
Horny.
sexualized
Yeah.
because it's deviated. Yeah, it's been gendered.
Yeah. I.
Plus, she's got those boots, so you know
Wait, who has the boots?
the sexy M&M.
Oh, right. Okay. Yeah.
Well, not anymore because they've all been non-binary because of the woke moralists. But
Well, actually, to to have a brief discourse within a discourse, they got rid of them all. Did you see that?
no, they got
Oh,
rid of the non-binary
they got rid of all
M&Ms.
of the M&Ms. Tucker Carlson yelled about the M&Ms so much that they got rid of all of them, and now it's just, who is it? I don't want to say.
Pisception, Keely says.
Oh, this is gonna happen most times we have piss course, I'm guessing. Uh, Maya Rudolph is
Oh,
now, so they literally did like like the image posts of texts, like I always associate it with like fucking Cyberpunk 2077 when they had all of those like, we're sorry we're delaying again, and then we're sorry our game is bad. um like it was just one of those, and it was basically like, we didn't mean to cause so much controversy, we're getting rid of all of the M&M spokes candies for a while, and it's just going to be Maya Rudolph for a while. So just
Why
yes.
did Maya Rudolph get like the lamest jobs? She was such a comedic powerhouse, and now she just has to do the wackest shit all the time. Like, why is she the M&M spokeshuman?
Yeah,
we don't we don't want it. We want candy furries.
it's like the McDonald's thing. There's
Of course.
the McDonald's thing where there was all of those sightings of scary clowns in 2016. Do you know about that?
Yeah, but that was real, right? So
No,
was that all
that
a job?
wasn't
The
real.
advertise.
That I
I
mean,
thought it was like flash mobs.
maybe one or two. Basically, it was like, it maybe there was maybe like one thing that like was like a picture of a clown, creepy clown or something. I don't think that there was if there was very little real to it, if there was anything real. And so there was just like, it was just like a hysteria, where it's like there was maybe one picture that went up, and then all of the local news places talked about it, and so everybody thought they were seeing these scary clowns. um and then they
Wow.
stopped, and then McDonald's stopped using Ronald because of that.
I see, I see.
So
Okay. So
that,
that it was not some guerrilla marketing that they started or anything
no,
like that.
right,
Okay,
you're
got it.
right. Like the hysteria was real, but it was like, yeah, it was like they were like, let's not have Ronald when everybody's freaking out about terrifying clowns. Um, so yeah, Tucker Carlson just did one of those himself about them.
And I see some talk in the chat about and this sounds I think this has been like maybe it's Hershey that has like child labor violations that are pretty well documented, like going back years. So for the people in the chat mentioning that Mars candies are also being sued over the use of child slaves in Sierra Leone,
Yep.
and whether that's in M&Ms is unconfirmed. That sounds, yeah, I mean, so this could all just be an op to distract
Yeah, they do that every
from
time.
that.
Thank you for
Yeah,
bringing that up
yeah,
because yeah, that is absolutely uh probably part of this. And the timing,
yeah,
I think the timing was like really good, like perfect too, right? Because it was like
right.
just yesterday or the day before that they posted about the getting rid of the spokes candies.
Tucker Carlson really is a freak of the week. Unfortunately, he's very good at freak baiting, and being being a freak.
Oh, it was well, this is from last year. I don't know if there was developments recently, but it was Mars, Nestle,
Oh,
and
and
Hershey.
Nestle.
Chocolate
Mm,
companies. Yeah, chocolate companies are among the defendants named in a lawsuit brought by former child workers in the Ivory Coast. But maybe that's so. Maybe this is different because yeah. So I mean,
but
their
yeah,
chocolate companies specifically are like really evil.
right. Just like a lot of like, basically all like soft drink companies and how they source their water, same thing. And they both use like, and just lots of brands have it in their playbook to do something that's kind of progressive looking that will get both a positive reaction and a really loud negative reaction, but it still boosts sales and kind of detracts from what they were doing.
Right.
Um, H Bomber Guy's video, Woke Brands, talks about that. What was the shaving razor company that they had like a very like men we need to be feminist kind of commercial,
Oh, the
and so then
like
a lot.
the this meme format where there was like the guy like stopping the guy walking towards someone and that turned into a meme format.
Yeah, Gillette. Yeah. Where it's like, hey, bro, not cool. And so
Right.
then a bunch of conservatives film themselves flushing their Gillettes that they already owned down the toilet, as if that's a boycott, throwing
Right.
out something you already owned, so then you'll have to buy something new.
Right.
Like it actually just boosts consumption.
Do you want to hear my really hot take?
Yes.
I wonder because so the basically it's like a brand does something woke because they know with some people it'll be popular and with a small minority it will be very unpopular, but the noise they make will generate profits of people like, oh well, fuck you, like we'll be bigger, right?
Right.
um I can never remember the names, but the second new Star Wars movie, I think that's
Hmm.
what that was. And I think that's why I fucking love um what's her name? The actress that is in that the uh
Lily Rose Tran, her.
no well, partly that too, but not really. The Commander Last Jedi, thank you. She had purple hair in that. She's in Jurassic Park.
Oh,
Um
yeah. Yeah,
um
not Daisy Ridley, the older actress.
Yes, because she's in all the Lynch stuff.
Laura Dern.
Laura
Laura
Dern,
Dern.
right?
Yeah.
I love Laura Dern. I love Lynch. I love all the shit she's in Lynch, and and but she's like, I don't know. I feel this is the worst take. I shouldn't have started taking
No,
saying
let's
this,
hear it. Let's hear it.
but it's like it's this whole
We're
thing where it's
Galaxy
like
Brains
in
here.
the first movie she's like or the main Han Solo. I don't know any fucking names. I'm sorry. The Han Solo ass guy is like he's all cool and he's the hot shot
Oscar
and
Isaac's character.
Oscar Isaac. Thank you. He's all cool. And then in the second one, they're just like, and now we're gonna make him look like an asshole in relation to this other purple haired liberal girl. And then it's
Right.
like it's and I love I like obviously the point that they're making about like, you know, misogyny and like men needing to take up the room, like the whole that whole plot line is like, you know, this man is trying to be like, well, I need to be in charge, when it's like actually this competent woman is in charge and she knows what she's doing. And that obviously I totally agree with that. Like that is a great point to have. But it felt cynical to put it in Disney when Disney already was having so much trouble with like having a black guy in the fucking movie and everyone was all mad about it. And it felt and we know that there was like a lot of rewrites because of a bunch of shit and like
Mhm. And she would like especially in that movie, it's so easy to just like stick someone in, like to just film a bunch of scenes and then just stick something
yeah,
in after you've like filmed all the big battles because she's just like on the ship, like, and
yeah,
that's basically it. Like, and she ends up being wrong. Like he has this whole lesson where he like needs to learn humility or whatever, but then she like ends up being wrong anyway, so it
yeah.
kind of undercuts its message. So it's like, I mean, and I like Ryan Johnson. Like that's my
Me
favorite of the
too.
three new movies. So like I'm not dunking on it, but it's definitely purple-haired
Purple
woman.
haired SJW.
Yeah.
And I agree with the, like I said, I agree with the point. I love Laura Dern. Uh, Eric, I am so jealous that you met her. She's amazing. Um, but yeah, like it felt like it was on purpose to piss people off. And
Definitely.
I don't know. That's just how it came across. Yeah, purple hair and space pronouns. It's like,
Literally. Hate to see a girl boss winning.
oh my god. All right.
Yeah. Ryan Johnson is better off doing Knives Out than Benoit Blanc. Okay, I'll say it. I think Glass Onion was way worse than Knives Out. I just
I
saw the menu, and I actually think the menu was better of the two movies that are basically doing the exact same thing.
I haven't seen
But
the
they're both
menu.
fun.
Yeah.
They're both fun. You
I
know.
I thought Glass Onion was worse than Knives Out, but I still liked it. I thought the
Yeah.
point, and it's funny because, and I was thinking about Glass Onion when I was talking about this because I think that has a similar thing where it's like the whole movie is based on, and we won't spoil Glass Onion, but the whole movie is kind of based on this point of like rich people aren't smart. Like Elon Musk is not a genius, he just is rich. And I think that like in order to make that point, it's not as good of a mystery. Um
Right. On
but
purpose.
right. But it feels like it doesn't feel like cynically it doesn't feel like they did it cynically to piss people off. It feels like a genuine
No.
point they're making. Um and I think it's
And the fact
fun.
And the fact he filmed it in 2020 before Elon became, I mean, he already was what he was, but like he's just
Right.
reached such an absurd reduction of absurdity to himself now
Right.
that it's kind of funny how ahead of, how prescient Ryan Johnson was in predicting it. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, I just think some of the characters were just so broadly written that it's just a little bit less of like, on one hand, I'm happy that like these anti-capitalist themes are becoming so popular in movies, and on the other hand, I'm really freaked out that these anti-capitalist themes have become so popular in movies. Right? It's like the commodification thing.
Right, where it's like what is that whole there's some where it's like a a a mechanism of capitalism is that if people criticize it they become successful in capitalism and then are like don't have like are incentivized against fighting that hard against it. Like it's like this built-in.
Right? Yeah, it kind of co-ops and commodifies anything. Yeah,
Yeah, Knives Out benefits from the
absolutely.
use of tropes of the genre's aesthetic trappings. I agree. And I think it I hope the next movie. I actually had a big. I was trying to think where the fuck does the series go from here if they get another
Hmm.
movie, and I had what I thought was a really good idea. Benoit Blanc goes to an exotic locale because that was totally a thing that like those kinds of detective stories would do because I think it would be
Yeah,
really
so Murder She Wrote did it all the time. Yeah.
right, because I think it would be really fun because that genre is so racist like by default. It's like like that idea is so racist like, "Oh, look at this weird exotic culture. Here's this white man that's going to come in and fix everything." And I think that you
Hmm.
could do it where it's like and you have like same as the other movies, you have like a woman person of color from that place who's fighting against rich white people and they're actually sort of the main character do it and you could do it like we'll go somewhere like somewhere in Asia or something like that, and it feels like it starts off feeling like it's exoticizing it in that really shitty way, but then it like actually humanizes it. It would have to actually do the research, actually have people from that place work on the story, but
That feels like something that like a boardroom would eat up right now, especially with just like
yeah,
they're finally beginning to be like complex like Asian representation like in movies and like of various different cultures. So I feel like someone could actually pitch that and get it made.
yeah,
And also there's something about having this kind of legacy, this character who is established and using him as kind of an excuse to get to tell stories in different places with that actually feature different people.
hmm.
And yeah, I think that's a pretty good prediction for where the series could go next, actually.
I should write a script. Me, a white
Yes.
person, should write should write that script.
Yes. Yes. Well, you can, yeah, exactly. That's how it goes. A white person who's lived in an Asian country for a period of time.
Yeah, when I was
Yes.
like 12.
Yes. All right. Should we look at another freak?
Yeah, I was just thinking. All right, freak of the
All right.
week.
I'll let you pick this one. Yeah.
Um, so which, uh, so oh my God, it's SETI on Tumblr sent tagged us in this post, which is
What the
extremely good.
fuck?
Um,
What the whole shit?
yeah, this is like it was like immediately after we posted about it, and it's exactly what I was imagining. So it's a Dorcopsis. Um,
Copsis. It's like a greyhound wallaby.
yeah, kangaroo corrupted by dark forces is what this post calls it, and
Its head is so small.
it's an Italian greyhound.
What the fuck?
Look at
What
its
the
fat
shit?
tail.
It's so juicy, but its head is so pea-brained.
Yeah.
And I've already heard from people that I know that have been to Australia, and any Australians in the chat, please weigh in. I've heard kangaroos are just God's dumbest fucking creatures, that they love to get hit by cars. They
Yes.
love to walk in front of guns and vehicles and into dangerous situations. But this one's brain is even smaller
He look
relative to its body.
he looks like the Goombas from Mario, from the Mario live action movie with the tiny little heads.
Yes.
So
Oh
let's
my god.
let's look up some. Let's just start with Google image search.
Look at its calves. Small brain.
Oh my god.
Oh my
Look at
god. Looks like
these.
the fucking showering rat again.
Look at that ass.
Oh my god. That's so thick. I I imagine that underneath dump truck looks like this.
Yeah. Oh, he's so sad.
Oh my god, he's so pitiful. Oh, that stance. It's
Oh my.
so provocative.
I love this drawing of it too. It looks so much
I
more regal. Drawing.
I would I would love to get some tattoos that are like animal illustrations
Ooh.
of that style, especially of like little nervous freaks like this. Um, the juxtaposition of like the most anxious, scared, stupid little beast, and then the like stateliness of the image is just really good.
He's
Yassified.
oh yeah, he's got a thick ass tail. So
Yeah, can we
let's
see one in motion? I wonder.
yeah. Let's go to YouTube. YouTube, can you bring computer bring up a
Computer.
nude Dorcopsis?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, is this a slideshow? Oh no.
Oh my god. Okay, here we go. They look like fruit bats a little bit.
They do.
Their faces. That reminds me of the bat categorization system that you
Yes. That
Tumblred.
that that should be our next one for sure.
Oh my god. They're just eating little. What is that? Watermelon?
I think so. Yeah.
And like little leaves. Oh my god, they're gentle hands. So given, not to commit the naturalistic fallacy, but given how every fucking animal stands like that, how can it be bad for me to stand like that?
Return.
Seriously. Return. I think I've been a posture truther for a long time.
Do you think posture you don't need to have good posture
You know
is
what?
a white supremacist
Well, it's an
patriarchy?
op.
It's an op,
It's an
yeah.
op. Yeah, it's definitely a lifestyle conspirituality-ist kind of thing. Like big posture. Yes.
Posture
Because
truther.
all my life I've been told you gotta stand up straight. You gotta fucking put your shoulders back. You gotta stop doing this. You're bent over for no reason. But nobody's explained to me why.
Your chi. For your,
My
for your,
chi,
yeah, your
my
chi.
free flowing. But and also, it's better to shit in like a
Oh,
weird
look at his
compressed posture with your
balls.
knees to your chest. Oh my god. The
Look at.
nuts.
Oh. But yeah. Oh,
Oh my god, what's with the one with the guy on the beach? What is
here. How do you pronounce it? While we're
Dorcopsis.
Dorcopsis.
Dorcopsis?
They're not cops though.
Oh my god. The YouTube music.
Oh
Oh my
wait, no,
god,
this is a kangaroo.
yeah, very small.
Oh my god, it's a little baby
Yeah,
kangaroo.
that's a kangaroo. It's pissing.
They're pissing together. What?
Gross.
Okay. But these are normal animals. Everybody knows about kangaroos.
Yeah, they've heard of those.
God, they're really good though.
We got some other posture truthers in the chat. Yeah, no, I unironically believe people's feet should be able to do this, and that posture is not real.
Yeah, don't
Look at him.
you have like can't, am I making this up or do you really can you like pick shit up with your feet? Is that a thing you've said or is that
Oh yeah, oh yeah, we can do. Well,
No,
we
we
need more
can't. We
subscribers.
can't do it. You can't show this on stream. We'll get banned.
Well, everyone who wants to know the truth, just go to MyFootFunction on Instagram.
Is that a thing? Does it train you to have monkey feet?
It trains you to be able to do all kinds of different things with your feet for your health. Um, yeah.
Oh,
Hanuli says, one of my physical therapists said that the more important thing should be spread around as posture truth is that you should change your posture, change up your posture.
yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
My toes go like this. I got them real bad bunions. So I don't think I
Oh.
can pick up anything with my feet just because my bones are bad and squeezed.
Hmm. Yeah. I had that lots of autistic people walk on the balls of their feet when they're young. So I
Mm.
have like very ripped calves because of that. And I was always just like I would do the laundry and then I would throw the balls of socks on the ground and just like pick them up with my feet and put them in the basket just for enrichment.
Enrichment in your cave, in your cage.
Yes.
Chubby Kumquat, yes, feet are not allowed on Twitch. I think it's like a sexual content thing. If you're putting your feet on Twitch, it's for for jacking off is the idea.
Well, one of these days we'll have an After Dark stream on Chatterbait, so,
Yeah. Hmm.
you know,
We could just do a
that'll be
porn
extra.
review.
I'd love that.
That's
I'd love
actually
to
a
do
really
porn
good
reviews.
idea. We could
We
probably
could do all kinds of shit on Chatterbait, probably.
we could do it on Chatterbait, but we could also probably do it on like Mastodon too.
Oh, really? Will they let you show Hog on
Are
on
not
Mastodon?
Mastodon are it's in there's an app in the Fediverse that is a video thing that I don't yeah, there's a way to stream in the Fediverse that is like I think it's probably like per server, so because it's like, you know, it's not owned by somebody who has to care. They
So it'd be a lot more private, yeah.
right, the only thing is they have to care about DMCA strikes somewhat because they could get fucked if they don't.
Yeah, that's what I was wondering. If I was like, oh, what if we could, we could do porn reviews, but we could also just watch films and do piracy
Yes.
as well as show whole.
Yeah. Oh, I never said this. I was thinking what we if we want to watch a movie, what we could watch is Metropolis. Cuz that's in the
Oh, I'd
public
love
domain
that.
now. Okay, cool. I'm glad you're into that. Um
Have you seen it before?
I've seen parts of it. I haven't actually seen the whole thing. My dad was watching it and I like kind of came in the middle and watched parts of it. I've watched the entirety of the anime, which is also extremely good, but not super
Ooh,
related, I don't
yeah.
think.
Yeah, it's really good. It's really, it's hot. It's cool. It's like it like they were doing some crazy shit with that. It's trippy.
Oh,
It would be a fun thing to watch and react to, for
yeah, and
sure.
it's silent too, so like we could put some interesting music on. Um, oh yeah, people are saying that there's restorations, which may technically we might not be able to watch, so that is a question.
Ooh,
But I wonder.
good question.
Giorgio Moroder version from the 80s would be amazing, but again, we probably couldn't use the music.
Copyright, yeah. I'm gonna add this to our document before I forget because I'm very hyped for that.
Okay, cool. I'm glad you're into it because I just sprung it on you midstream. But it's
I
something I
love
can.
that movie.
Okay.
I mean,
Um
it's this communist allegory with like robotification. Like it's like,
your shit.
I'm the seal catching the fish and and clapping.
Oh, is there an original score? I thought it was.
I
Oh,
think
right, cuz
so.
there's a score that someone would play. Interesting. So yeah, we'll have to look into the legality. Chubby Kumquat, there is a Metropolis anime. It is by the guy who did Astro Boy. I'm not remembering his name and many other things.
Hmm.
Have you seen that, Devin?
No, I've seen many GIFs and I've been like that aesthetic rules, but that's it.
It's really good. It doesn't have much to do with the original film, except some of the like very basic stuff. But it's really incredible.
It also even kind of reminds me the original Metropolis. I'm just because I'm playing through Disco Elysium again right now, and it's like it's about like labor strikes and
Yep.
like this industrializing kind of town, like in the turn of a new like century, and it's like kind of similar in some interesting ways that I just now am realizing. Wait a sec.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh man, a Metropolis video game now that it's in the public domain, that would be incredible.
Yes.
Fantastic
Oh, and
Planet.
people are drawing the. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Fantastic Planet Panuli is also an incredible movie. I don't think I've tried to watch that in like 2013 with from like short clips on YouTube. So I don't think I've seen that whole thing.
I miss those days when you could just watch a whole TV show on YouTube in like 3 parts, or any
Oh,
movie.
for that movie, the one when I tried to watch it, it was like 30 little clips, which was awful.
They do that on TikTok now.
I've heard
People will put
that.
an entire movie on
Oh
TikTok
my
in like
god.
3-minute clips.
Well, they were doing that on fucking Twitter recently because they had a copyright strike system that like would not let you do that on Twitter, but then it fucking broke because Elon Musk unplugged a server or some shit.
Ooh, the tumbly bots were unplugged. Oopsie whoopsie.
All right. Do we wanna do a mailbag?
Sure, yeah. Let me open up my shit. Or is there anything? I haven't looked at the email. I don't know if there's anything.
I don't. When I last checked, there wasn't any advice. There was some very good animal suggestions from Photopotamus,
Hmm.
um, which we really appreciate. So yeah,
Yes.
we have a email address, Dr. Devin Price streaming at gmail.com. So if you ever want to ask us questions, you can always jump into one of our asks box, but this is just another way to get a hold of us that we can both see.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, and that's the advantage that we can both see it versus one of our Tumblr ass boxes where we have to share it with each other. So, but then there's also the little suggestion box on here on Twitch. So that's a little bit more public though. So yeah, but I do think I have one, or probably a couple of ones I could share, and we can see what. Let's see, let me do a screen share.
yeah, you want to put those up.
Yeah. Okay. This one I thought was kind of good to talk about because I think there's some stuff kind of going on there, and I just found it kind of interesting. So this person says,
Hold on,
I have a friend.
your screen
Oh, is it
share
not
is.
working?
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Oh yeah, you have to like make it work. Yeah, collar close up cam. Hello.
I don't know why it's not. It's like I'm clicking on it, but it's just doing like the two dot thing. It's
Hmm.
just not.
Let me try it again. Share your screen. Window, maybe it's because I didn't do entire screen. I did just Tumblr. Should I try just doing an entire screen? Oh wait, it won't let me. Oh wait, okay. Okay, maybe that'll be better.
Mm, I'm still just giving
Okay.
me. It's still just giving me the two little dotty guys. I could
Hmm.
I could stop.
Maybe.
Maybe. Oh, I could stop streaming to you. Maybe that's part of it.
Let's see. Could it just be that it's like too much for my tubes and it's like chugging or
I
something?
don't think so because it's just like it's giving me the little Discord spinnies.
Okay.
There we go.
Okay. Weird. Okay. Sweet. So can you see it?
Yes. There we go. There we go. There we go. Sorry,
Okay.
Devin might be a little chunky in this view because of Discord.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Am I having a little bit of the delay thing?
No, it's that I'm screen recording a tiny little thumbnail of you instead of a bigger screen so that I could so
Got it. Okay.
um
Well, that's okay. Okay, so this person asks, I have a friend studying a psychology degree, and lately she keeps talking about self-diagnosis as a tragedy, saying it's going to fuck everyone up and also distract people from the real problem, which is not being able to keep up with capitalism. It's hard debating this with her because her starting point, the bigger problem being the socioeconomic system that categorizes what is normal behavior and what isn't, is something we agree on, but she draws literally the opposite conclusion than I do. What would you say to someone like that? Um, and I thought this would just be a really interesting one to discuss because
yeah.
I think kind of like like Anon here is like asking about, kind of both of you are right, right?
Hmm.
Like like this seems like someone who's not concern trolling about self-diagnosis so much, right?
Right.
Because there are definitely people with a psychology background who really hate the idea of self-diagnosis and think, oh, all of these people are just getting misinformed online and whipping themselves up into a hysteria and giving themselves a fake mental health diagnosis. And a lot of times when people with a psychology background say that, it's really this like appeal to authority, right? That like we can't trust normal people to make these judgments about themselves. It's wrong that they're kind of superseding psychiatric authority and like diagnosing themselves, right? And that shit's bullshit, obviously, um, for many reasons that have been discussed before. But instead, this person's kind of saying, like, it's weird for someone with a psychology background to be saying this, because then why are you still studying psychology? Like, I think if I had had this insight at that age, I
Yeah.
probably would have been like, shit, I need to do something different.
Yeah. Yeah. That's strange.
But I think that means they're like, they're thinking about shit, like they're working on something. And so, they're kind of seeing here that if people are finding the problem inside of themselves and saying it's because I have this pathology, that that's somehow going to keep them from saying that it's capitalism or whatever, um,
Uh.
which is a thing a lot of people bring up as a concern. Um, and I think, you know, for those of you who don't already follow Jesse Meadows, Sluggish.substack is their Substack, and they also write on Medium, and they talk a lot about this kind of stuff, that it's like, but with the lens of ADHD, that it's like, yes, ADHD exists, the struggles of people with ADHD exist, and also the more you demand out of people under a capitalist system and the more self-sufficient you require people to be, the more people are going to be in the disordered realm, because what counts as functioning is so narrow and so like punishing, right?
Thank you, Panuli, for subscribing. By the way.
Yeah, thank you, and thanks for being here.
Yeah.
So, like when I read this, I thought like I kind of just wanted to tell this Anon to just like keep talking with this person, because I think you two both have the same concerns at the end of the day, you
Yeah.
know?
I'm curious. Yeah. I'm really interested to hear you talk more about this because I feel like there's these two things that you've talked about too, where it's like I think you kind of agree that like psychology is like and diagnoses and kind of DSM are like I don't know if I can really phrase it right, but it's like they're I don't know, not the best way to it's really pathologizing and do you know what I mean? I'm not really describing it
Yeah,
right, but that's a thing that
yeah,
you've talked about as
yeah. Sorry.
well, yeah, just that, and then also like, but it can also be really valid to like to use this. Like, I think you've one thing you've said is it's more. I think am I remembering this correctly that you've said it's like almost more valid to like self-diagnose in some ways.
Yeah, I mean, I've like, I've likened it to transness a million times. So forgive me for those who have heard this spiel a million times, but we didn't pivot from saying transness was a mental disorder to then saying self-diagnosis of transness is valid, right? We
Yeah.
stopped talking about transness being a mental illness and
Right.
started actually believing that there's nothing wrong with someone who is trans, and we are the authorities on our own experience. So to even talk about it as something that could be diagnosed makes absolutely no sense. And it's counter to our liberation to talk about it as a pathology, um, even in a self-diagnosis is valid kind of way, because that's just too like reformist almost in a way. Like it's not
Right.
challenging the idea that it's a disease. Um, and that's the same thing I would kind of say here, that if you, as this psychology major, are critical of mental illness labels and how much they are tools of capitalism and ways of pathologizing very kind of naturally occurring benign, human responses to things, and people's traumatic responses to capitalism. If that's the case, then self-diagnosis should not be at all a threat to you, because it's kind of helping to erode the idea that diagnosis is and pathology is what defines a person's struggles and what explains a person's struggles.
Hmm.
Um, in the same way that like it makes no sense to be for like a binary, not that that exists, trans person to be threatened by non-binary people, or
Right.
for a feminist to be threatened by trans people. We're all helping like corrode at this like oppressive system in different ways and pointing out different ways in which it doesn't work for us, right?
Right. Yeah. Uh,
So yeah.
he, I, I, and I think that there's an interesting kind of, and probably too big to talk fully about, but like, do you think in a utopia that it would be still relevant to be talking about, you know, being an autistic, being autistic or being ADHD? Um, like, because that's kind of the idea is like, well, it's actually capitalism that is putting us into these small, like, the what I'm assuming that they're saying is like, yeah, and they even say like bigger problem being the socioeconomic system that categorizes what is normal behavior and what isn't, and like we are put into these boxes where we have to be productive members of society, and everyone has to be a productive member of society in the same way, in a way that is like valid to capitalism. And so kind of the idea being like, well, if we didn't live in this capitalist system and we lived in like something that actually cared more about individuals and allowed for more human expression, like would would it be even relevant to talk about that stuff?
Yeah, God, that's such like an endless debate that people have. It's kind of
Yeah.
almost exactly the same as that debate of like, well, if we didn't have such rigid gendered roles, would there be trans people? That kind of
Right.
thing. And it's like, well, no, we wouldn't have cis people if we didn't force people to adhere to rigid gender roles.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
cisness is the artificially constructed thing that's like imposed and forced on all of us over and over again when we're kids, and by like every system around us until we decide to say like, you know what, no, fuck that, we're gonna violate it. So, I think it's like in a world where we didn't pathologize everything, neurotypical wouldn't exist.
Right.
Like I think neurodiversity would still exist because I think there are differences in how people process things
Yeah.
and their temperament and what they're sensitive to. Like I think that's obviously real. Um,
And I think we
but it
would,
interacts with environment. Yeah.
and I think it would still be useful to like know that stuff about yourself. Like even if you're not pathologized, if you're like as an ADHD person, I think it would be like even if I lived in an ideal society that allowed me to operate in a way that was easier for me as an ADHD person. Um thanks for the follow. Who is that? Is
Oh
that
yeah, thank you.
Lucy River? Um like I think it would still be valuable for me to understand what that means. And I think that our idea and the way we would talk about it is would be much different because it would be more about like less about how to conform yourself to the like capitalist idea of like how you should operate, and more about like, well, how do you live in a way that actually makes sense for somebody with ADHD, and that, you know, and do the live the kind of life you want to live and be productive in the way you want, so you want to be productive. I think it would still be helpful for me to know that, and know that there are people, there's like this group of people that have in some ways similarities to me. um
Right.
and
Yeah.
yeah.
Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, go on.
It made me think of this thing that you reblogged on Tumblr a while ago, where it was someone who hadn't realized all their life that they had ADHD because when they were a kid, when they were feeling ornery, their mom would just tell them to go out back and like chop logs, and
Yeah.
that just helped regulate them so well that they basically just like weren't disabled
Right.
in any like functional sense. Like they had really useful tool book for when I'm upset, I do this. When I need stimulation, I do this. and here's how my mom talks to me about emotions and having too much energy. And so it was just so normalized to have that toolkit that they
Right.
didn't even realize until they were outside of that environment that they had a disability, because they weren't really disabled in that context.
Right.
In the same way that deaf people who live in like deaf schools or deaf communities, they're not really disabled except for on like a broader, society structure wide scale, but within their own communities, they have the commonality. So I think that's kind of the same thing in a lot of ways of what you're describing is, if we weren't in a capitalist system, people would still have differences and have terms for affinity and tools and struggles that they had in common with other people, I
Right.
think.
Yeah, and so self-diagnosis is like, sure, it is, a lot of that is, it's in relation to a system of pathologizing people that is not ideal in so many ways, and it's also like, so much molded by capitalism and the way we exist in a really, you know horrible society. But at the same time, these are things that are going to be valuable regardless, like, and it's, yeah, and it's so strange to me that they're basically saying like, that self-diagnosis is distracting people from capitalism, because it's like, I mean, I
Are they
don't.
still pro regular diagnosis then?
Yeah,
Like,
that's probably the biggest thing that is very weird. But it's also like, I need to know that I have ADHD, and find ways to like treat it and exist with it, because I'm still under capitalism. I need to know how to do. I'm not going to be better at fighting capitalism without fucking the concerta that I take. Like,
right, and it's also like a class consciousness issue basically. Like you have to have like for
yeah,
any oppressed group, you have to have like consciousness raising where people realize, oh, this isn't just me being a fuck up. This isn't just me not trying hard. It's because the deck is stacked against me, and I'm not the only one. And here are other people who have the exact same like locus of oppression or whatever. And
yeah,
you have to build that, because people don't start out knowing that, because what capitalism does is it individualizes us. It makes us think of ourselves only as individual agents who just need to work hard and have our own unique identities, professional identities, consumer identities, all of these things that can't fit into a larger systemic understanding of why we're all suffering in so many ways that rhyme with each other, you know?
yeah,
Um, so I will say, I think, Anon, I think your friend maybe is getting at some of that there, where, and this does concern me, that there are a lot of people on social media who come into a disabled identity, an autistic identity, or an ADHD identity, or something similar, and then they're still just focused on, this is my these are my needs, this is what how I function, this is what's unique about me, I'm so quirky, like a very individualistic lens. Like they've learned to question ableism, but they haven't learned to can't question individualism yet.
yeah,
And so they see it as like part of their individual brand or individual identity, rather than seeing it as a collective battle. um, and queer people do that too, right? And white people famously, we do this with queerness and disability a lot.
yeah,
um, so that's a real concern. I think you can kind of validate your friend in that identity, self-identity, and claiming a new identity isn't enough. People need to see their struggles as wrapped up in somebody else's. But for many of us, realizing why we're part of an oppressed class and how it's systemic is how we get there.
yeah.
It's not just an individual cute label that's like a product or a brand. It's a way of um, building that class consciousness, I think, or it can be. But it's something we have to like fight against for sure. The individualism of it.
Yeah, I think if I was gonna distill like my recommendation to this person would be like, as hard as it, because I'm very much imagining this person as being really combative, and kind of shitty, is the way that, on this specific issue, is the way that I'm kind of, the vibe that I'm getting from it, that the Anon is like frustrated because every time they try to talk to this other person, it doesn't go anywhere, and they just like cut them off at the pass. And I think it's hard to be the bigger person when they're kind of being shitty. But I think that is kind of what's probably needed here, is like, even though they are wrong, don't focus on that part of it. Focus on like, okay, what are you guys, because it sounds like there's a lot of that both Anon and this other person actually agree on with capitalism, I would imagine. And like start more from that, connect like where you're agreeing on that, and work down towards this opinion about self-ID that doesn't actually make sense to me, doesn't actually make sense with their larger political feelings.
Right. I think there's a couple things going on like latently in this person, that they have the psychology degree elitism brain, and I say this as someone who also had it, right? Where it's like, well, oh, all these people, they don't know what they're talking about. They're just giving themselves these labels. How dare they? You know, they don't have the expertise that is required to do this. That kind of bristling, and that very elitist attitude is mixing with a valid concern about how a lot of our movements are too focused on personal identity rather than capitalism, and joining up in the fights of other oppressed people.
Right.
But the way that she's added those two things together makes zero sense.
Right.
If you think self-diagnosis is a tool of distracting from capitalism, then boy, wait till you hear about the history of psychiatry and regular diagnosis.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which um, which that actually does remind me of. So I know, Maddie, you and I have talked about sometime on the stream doing kind of almost a like "you're wrong about" segment, where like one of
Yeah.
us just kind of talks about like a book that we were reading, and I'd like to do that at some point with this book I'm reading right now called Body and Soul: The Black Panthers and the Fight Against Medical Discrimination.
Oh, wow.
This book slaps. I'm learning so much every single page, and one thing that I learned about it is that the Black Panthers started their own health clinics that were completely free, and they were really inspired by Fanon. I don't know how to pronounce it, but he was like a psychiatrist who was assigned to work with people who had been colonized in Algiers, who had trauma from war and colonization, and he was being forced to basically medicate people into not being revolutionaries anymore.
Wow.
And he was like, wait a second, this is not good. This is not right. We're using these pathology labels for completely normal human reactions of dissent to oppression. And so he quit psychiatry and he like joined up with the revolution.
That's incredible.
Um, yeah, which
And
I had heard of him before, but I didn't know that history.
that specific thing is so relevant, because it's like, I think that is a huge thing, that, a huge criticism of therapy as it is in its modern incarnation, and I really agree with that. Okay, I'm very proud of this, which is like, it's definitely that I think I can win at therapy brain. But
Yes.
I
I think it's possible to achieve, normal to want.
yes. I've been in therapy most of my adult life, and I've had this therapist for like 8-9 years at this point, and she's great. She really she was the first therapist. I've had a bunch of therapists. She was the first therapist. There was a bunch of shit where she was just like, that's this, and I was like, I've talked to this about this issue with a bunch of therapists, and no one said that to me before. She's great. But one thing is, I would have, like, when I would get depressed, I would basically be like, I'm afraid the world is ending. And I'm like, not literally, but like, I am really paranoid about the rise of fascism in this country. I am really paranoid about global warming. I am really paranoid about like Western society collapsing because of all of these really fucked up forces that no one is doing anything about. And basically she was like, and this was this was like, especially I started talking a lot about it in 2016, but this is a thing that I felt like since I was a fucking teen. As a teen, I remember learning about peak oil and being like, fuck, like this shit is just on a timer. And I felt like that since then. And so I would talk to her about that, and she'd basically be like, okay, you're like, you're not wrong, but you like, let's think about this with your wise mind, the DBT wise mind, and like,
DBT shit, yeah.
let's like realize that like this is you projecting, like this is because you saw your dad the other day, and that triggered you, and that's why you're so upset. And it's and she wasn't
Right.
wrong, but it was really funny because I didn't see her for a long time, and I saw her for the first time this past fall. I don't think I saw her like much during the pandemic, I don't think I saw her, yeah, during the pandemic, like much at all.
Hmm.
I think I saw her briefly when it started, but like I it's a long story, but basically I saw her this fall for the first time in like a year, and she was like, yeah, yeah,
Like,
you were right. Shit is really
you weren't
fucked.
overreacting.
Yep, there are fascists in our
Oh.
government and nothing is happening. Like, I was just like,
She's freaked out now. She's losing it. And you're like,
yeah.
listen, I've been dealing with this for a long time. I have some tips for you.
Exactly. Oh, it's like, yeah, January 6th happened, and nothing fucking happened. Like, nobody
Nobody
cares.
cares. It's really special when a therapist can say, I had it wrong, or I can see why you were so concerned about that. Like, because so many don't. So many are the
Yeah.
agent of like capitalism covertly who are like, well, you just need to work on deep breathing and
Yeah.
mindfulness exercises.
She
So,
wasn't that like that completely. She talked to me a lot about like especially when I was seeing her after 20, like in 2020. She was like, she talked to me a lot about like, she helped me focus into activism and like be productive with it. And she definitely wasn't somebody who's just like, she wasn't saying like you're just
right.
depressed, but she was like,
Yeah, she was a real one. Yeah.
right, but she was very much like, but that's a big part of it. And but it was very funny for her to go from like, no, you are not reacting.
Like you were worrying the completely normal amount, the reasonable thing. That's the thing that like being debilitated in a unjust, terrifying reality is a very sensible response, and so it is weird that that's pathologized. Even if at the same time those DBT tools of like one of my favorite things about DBT is this idea of like, okay, yes, 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 this sucks, that person's horrible, this is unfair, this is all, this is all real. You feel very upset, like, great, yes, accept all that. Are you gonna make your situation worse right now
Yeah,
by pulling some fuck shit, or are you gonna do something that's gonna help you down regulate or help you address it better? That's like my favorite thing about DBT.
yeah,
Like, as someone who a lot of times I would tell myself, well, I'm justified in thinking this, I'm justified in feeling this way, this person's irrational, they deserve to suffer, I'm going to go do something insane. It's like, well,
yeah.
sure, yes, yeah,
You're not
yeah, they're
wrong.
awful. You're not wrong. Are you going to fuck up your life more just because of all that? Are you going to make your life worse or make yourself more upset? Like,
Yeah,
that's not the move, dog. And it's like, okay, fine. Like, fine, I get that. Um, but yeah, I don't know. I think if you're going to be a therapist in this day and age, you pretty much have to at least be really good at validating that this stuff is real, and you basically do have to have some like political economy education.
yeah.
Otherwise, you can't understand what your clients are going through.
Hmm.
And do they get that training? Most of them no. So
Yeah.
sucks. Thanks for being here, Sterny Kyer.
Yes.
Watching streams while cooking is like god tier
I
stimulation level.
I want to put a fucking TV in my kitchen.
You should.
Um, I think that unless there was more you wanted to say on this, I think this actually might be a great segue into our first official piss course.
Yes, let's do it. Let me see if there's anything else to round up in the chat because I know people were sharing a lot of great stuff.
Yes,
But
we were talking. That's a very good plan.
yeah, and I had my eye kind of on it, but I know a lot of people shared a lot of good things. So just real quick,
Why are
First
you
of all,
so
it's for our
big?
mention that the harm of self-diagnosis is imaginary because it's not like you're taking any resources away. Um, and that's and there's no harm done when somebody incorrectly self-diagnoses. It's same thing with when people talk about like, oh, we can't let these asexuals into the queer community because they'll take up the resources of showing up to a queer community event night that not enough people show up to. Like,
Yeah, yeah, that was that. Sorry, I'm having to do some live.
oh, sorry.
No, it's not you. I don't. Discord, we might move away from Discord because it's not bad. It's just for this specific purpose.
It's
Is
a little jank, yeah.
yeah.
Um,
Okay.
yeah, Chubby Kumquat mentions, I like being able to seek out neurodivergent people as almost like a shortcut for people who are more likely to get me. Um, and I feel like that would still be there in a utopia, but maybe not, unsure. Yeah, kind of the same things as we were talking about, kind of
Yep.
finding affiliation.
Yep.
Um,
And
in terms of oh, sorry, go ahead.
oh yeah, I was just gonna say you shared that story about that post of like when I got overstimulated, my mom would just have me chop wood, and it's like it's great that she probably just came up with that on her own, but it's also like that's an important like yeah, in a perfect world you don't even notice because you have tools, but it's like you it's important to be able to communicate with other people with that disability to have those tools because you're not going to necessarily know that yourself.
Right, yeah. Language and identity labels, they like oversimplify things, but they can still be useful for just describing experiences because we can't build on knowledge if we can't like condense it in
Yeah.
some way.
Yeah.
Um, even though the written word is evil. Um, and writing was a mistake. Um, Eric mentioned that kind of jumping off the idea of learning to question psychiatry and like why do we even have these labels, that he saw a video with a lawyer who was discussing how today's law students are asking like why do we even have the law in the first place? Why does it exist? And like system level questions, and that's really exciting
Yeah,
to
that's
see.
super important.
Um, a few people kind of sharing, Chubby Kumquat, a few other people sharing how um, there's a fuzzy line between am I disabled versus is my situation disabling, and you can't ever really separate those things,
Yeah.
which is another DBT concept. Like you only ever had the one life that you had. The past is never gonna be changed. We only exist in the reality we exist in, and so it's kind of meaningless to talk about would I be trans in a world where
Yeah.
everybody was cool. Like,
Yeah. Life is an experiment that you can only run once, like, you know. It's a bad
right.
experiment. You only get the one the one thing, but it's like you can never replicate those variables.
Yeah, the variables are not isolated, and people mentioning how self-diagnosis for most people it's this really long soul-searching process. It's not this glib I saw one TikTok video and I identify as this thing.
Yeah.
But
And I
but also if they did, who cares? Fuck it.
yeah, I'd rather have people wrongly think that they're autistic or whatever than like one of the like 50 people doing that and being like what's the problem is that they're annoying
Right.
and then if one person sees like a TikTok and then they go down a journey and they learn that they are autistic and like read your book and like that's worth 50 people being annoying on TikTok like because they've diagnose themselves or whatever.
Right. Yeah, it's the same fear mongering that TERFs do about these our poor teen girls are self-diagnosing as trans online, and it's like, why is teenagers one being annoying? They're going to be annoying about anything. They're going to be
Right.
annoying about being trans. They're going to be annoying about being into BTS. Like,
Yeah.
just let them be. It's not a different. It's not transness's fault. It's not autism's fault that people
Right.
are annoying.
They're just annoying.
Yes, it's their God-given right to be annoying online.
So,
Okay.
yes. So we're talking about fighting back against capitalism, and holy fucking bingle, it's time for us to talk about Maia Arson Crimew. Um, so probably everyone has heard some about this. Um, thank you, Chubby Kumquat. It is, I don't know how to do it. I don't think I've ever done
If
it
you just
like in
hit
a live stream.
if you just hit the clip button, at the moment that you hit the button, it'll show the last like 2 minutes from the moment that you hit it, and then you just select what you want to clip.
Okay, cool. You can probably also,
Or if you're watching the video late, then you same thing.
yeah. Crimew? Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Mew, like a
Um,
cat.
mm-hmm. Ugh. Uh, so holy shit, we actually have the no-fly list. Holy fucking bingle, what? Um, so the thing that I was really proud of, and a friend of ours, like in a group chat, was like, "Did you hear about this?" And I was like, "Not only have I heard about this, but I'm in a Discord server with this person," which I'm so proud of
Yes.
that I have done such a good job. Um, to be fair, it's not one that I use a lot, and we'll talk about it a little bit more. But it's Goop House, which is a music Discord, and is extremely good, and we'll talk about it a little bit more. But yeah, uh, she leaked the no fly list, and basically the way that this happened, is to she basically found an unsecured server. So there's like there I think they're called fucking what are they fucking called? Jenkins servers that are like, so it's like she didn't even hack into anything. Like she didn't break into something she wasn't allowed to have access to. She was looking through servers, like on a website that's a search engine that goes through these, that is like a known thing. And she found a server that was just unsecured, and she found a dev build from 2019 from a small airline out of Ohio. So, consumers. I don't remember what the airline is, but it doesn't matter. She found a text file named nofly.scv or CSV, and it had 1.5 million entries.
Wow.
So a lot of those are probably aliases, because aliases are they someone on here gave the example of the guy that recently we handed over to Russia, the United States handed over to Russia. There was like 15 entries for him.
Oh, isn't he like he's like an arms dealer, right?
Right. So he was
Who
on.
that Nicolas Cage movie was about, God of
Yes.
War.
Yes. I fucking love that movie. I think that movie is not super accurate, but yeah.
I
Um,
mean, yeah, it's a Nicolas Cage movie. It's definitely fanfic. But
but
yeah.
so yes, he was on there, and there was like 15 different spellings, and so the 1 point, or what is it 15 or 1.5? That is not accurate to how many people are actually on. Yeah, 1.5 million. So there's definitely less people than that, but still, it's a fucking lot. So this website, which is papersplease.org, this is one of the ones that I think she linked to in some post, which has an article. The hashtag no fly list is a Muslim ban list, because where's more than 10% of the entries on the no-fly list contain Muhammad in either the first or last name fields. Quote, "It's just crazy to me how big that terrorism screening database is, and yet there is still very clear trends towards almost exclusively Arabic and Russian-sounding names throughout the million entries."
Wow.
Mia told the Daily Dot. Yeah, so, and it's also possible that this might contain like the details are a little bit more confusing because it could also contain like a screening list. Um, there's also a selectee file that contains 2005 250,000 files, which may be like some kind of like pat down list. But yeah, this article really talks about how, so we don't know how many individuals are on there yet, but it is this list, this just regardless, it is an insanely huge list that is basically ever growing, and there's no way, there not good ways to take people off of it. And even by like, it's clearly always getting bigger. It doesn't get smaller, and it's also a secret list that no one before this, no one had any real, like, people didn't have real information about. And there's no oversight, and anyone has access to this list, basically. Like any like airline or local police department has access to this list, and there's no requirement to be on it. It's just a list that they can put whoever the fuck they want on it, and you're not allowed to travel freely in and out of the country.
So is an airline like required to adhere to this list, basically? Like if someone's, or I guess the TSA intercedes before that would even come up usually,
Yes.
right?
So the way that, and this article talks about it a bit. Yeah, vibes-based list for sure. The way that this article talks about it is basically since 9/11, the TSA has to individually approve every person who goes on a flight. And this is likely this is part of the list that they use, right? So this is a list that's like definitely not. And then there's all of these other ways that like people are not, like, selected for enhanced screening and all this stuff. And there's just no oversight of it. And there was like people as young, because so there's names and also birth dates, and there are people as young as 14 on this list.
Wow.
The youngest of those versions on the no-fly list as of 2019, there were 3 4-year-olds, and there were 25 centenarians, where people over 100, right?
Yeah.
So this list is like, and again, it's almost entirely, Arabic people and people from the Middle East, and then Russian people, and
there's no mentioning on the sheet of like the provenance of how their name came to be there. These
right,
aren't all people that have even been charged with something. I mean, we're talking 4-year-olds, like,
right,
so it could just be who they're related to, or like, I don't know. I've already heard so many hellish stories from people who just share the name with someone who's on the no-fly list,
right.
and sometimes they get turned away because it's an adult man they're looking for and the person's a teenager. But like, if they can just put a teenager on the list, then it's like they're not even going to scrutinize that like that.
Right. And we already know just from personal experiences by reporters how many of these people, and I'm sure because this only happened this week and it's 1.5 million entries, so it's going to take a while to like really, for people to really go through that data. But we already know that so many journalists who just, leftist journalists, or people that are critical of the US government and in any way, are just put on that list. And there's no way to like, it's not, it's just, so it's whatever reason they decide, and then you're there pretty much permanently, and there's no way to no oversight of it. There's no way to like entreat the government,
get yourself off.
Right.
There's no due process, as if that even already exists. But like,
right.
even under the auspices of the legal system, there's nothing like that you
right.
can do to like challenge it.
So
So is Crimew, from what you've read, is she gonna be charged with anything for having? Did she leak the full contents of the list, or did she just kind of report on the findings? Have you heard whether this is illegal or not? I haven't followed it super.
So she posted something like Congress is investigating, but we stay silly. um, so I think that there's not any
Amazing.
charges filed. She's also Swiss, so that also hopefully will make this a little bit more complicated for law enforcement to, fuck her shit up. Um,
Oh, and I am in the chat is saying she's only giving it out to journalists and human rights organizations. Smart.
yes, right.
Good.
So it is.
Yeah, that'll help cover her ass, I think.
Yeah. U.S. government has already charged her for previous shit, says Callisto, but Switzerland won't extradite her. Yes, yeah. So
We stay silly.
yeah. So let's. It's really important to talk about what this actually is, because this is like, I mean, this is one of the real primary documents of fucked up post 11 shit and a 9/11 shit, and it's like this is, it's really important to actually know what the fuck is happening here, because it's fucked. Um, and but let's talk about her, because she just seems fucking cool. This is her website.
She's, it just seems like such an absolute
Yeah,
legend of a person.
we're gonna steal some of these little buttons because they're really good. Um, and the reason that this is in discourse, um, and is because what got people talking on fucking Twitter is not about any of this. And I'm very proud of myself, because she said on Twitter, okay, now that I'm a white trans femme Twitter micro celeb, what problematic trait do I have to pick up? And I responded, no, yeah, got it mixed up. What trait of yours can you describe in such a way that it can be interpreted in a massively bad faith way? And then it was fucking, like 15 minutes later, literally, it felt like that people started yelling at her for being a bi lesbian.
It's such a psyop, this shit, at this point. It is so wild how much we just complete. And that's where I first heard about it. I just saw people fighting about bi lesbian shit on
Yep.
Tumblr. Because, I stay off socials for the most part. And so, like, that was the thing people were talking about was justifications for why it's okay to identify as a bi lesbian and all this historical stuff, which is all, great and everything. But the fact that we're talking about that instead of talking about what the U.S. government is and the TSA are doing to
Right.
like infringe on the rights of Muslims and journalists and anyone who's critical of the government. That was just completely erased in this meaningless squabble.
Right.
Um, it
It's
just
yeah. And I actually literally do wonder, like, I it feels like I think about, going back to the Black Panthers, like, what is that document that is like that someone filed from the CIA, where it was like, um if you are undercover in a leftist group, like, what is it's like, uh oh man, I'm gonna have to, I don't think I have the search terms to find it, but it's like, basically, cause of as much of a problem as you can, find bureaucratic. Do you know what I'm talking about? Have you
hmm
seen that list that's like,
yeah,
find,
the tactics.
right, and it's like, find shit to have discourse about, basically, like, you know.
Yeah. And it's where R says the thing is this isn't even an op. Past ops have worked so well that this shit happened organically, which is definitely much scarier.
Right.
And yeah,
That's what I
exactly.
was gonna
It's
say.
it's the it's so embedded in how especially a lot of people who cut their teeth on social media rather than getting to have both that and in-person community, like this is just how a lot of people understand queerness and like think that it's important to like litigate what's a valid label and what you're allowed to call yourself and who belongs in what space and all of these micro identity things, which again, I'm like pro micro identity labels. Identify as whatever kind of fucking thing you want, it's beautiful, but like the fights over like what's valid or not.
Yeah.
like is so ingrained that you don't have to plant the op. The ops are it's the opification of the mind,
Yeah,
of all
yeah.
of us.
And we need to bully terminally online label police more. And it's like, yeah, it's cop behavior. It's like literally someone is doing the work to fucking, this is what we need to fucking worry about is shit like this. And they're out there putting their fucking life on the line to, you know, fight the global hegemony of fucking, the US military industrial complex. And
Hmm.
people are being mad because she fucking identifies as a bi lesbian. Like it's
Yeah, because she has something in her Twitter bio that some people don't like. Like, what the fuck?
yeah.
Ah.
And
KPPK said the op inside of you. Yes, exactly. What a
yeah.
op inside of you.
Yeah, the fucking cop in your brain. Fucking kill the cop in your brain. Ugh.
And kill the op in your brain.
Yeah, kill the fucking op in your brain. That's what it is. It's a psyop where it's like changing your fucking thought processes, and it's worked on people. What
And
was
yeah, it makes you really hyper vigilant of yourself and others, like in your community, instead of focusing on what goals you have. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And I I do think it's like it's just so frustrating to me that people are like I do understand people that aren't attracted to men wanting to have a label where it's like that is this culturally enforced thing that women are attracted to men, and I get it. But it's just when you try to fucking create labels like that, you just there's so many fucking edge cases, and this is and Maya is such a perfect fucking example where it's like, she uses and it's like you are by telling like by like creating these labels that are so like defined by binary gender. It's like like on her website she even says like I am gay mostly for girls and a tiny kitten. And it's like, yeah, being a bi lesbian is such a fucking good way to say that. And it's
Right.
the people aren't just men or not men. Like gender is so fucking uh, confusing and this huge thing, and it's like you're just gonna yeah.
Yeah, like how are you gonna apply like a binary label onto someone who they're like who she's already saying like her label like if somebody like as as a he it, right? Like it's
You're
like
right.
there's there's an element that's outside of that binary, so those systems don't make sense because what's the same
Right.
thing? What's attraction to the same gender when you're an it? Like it's
Right.
none of these shits work perfectly. Like none of these shits apply to everyone perfectly. Like it's
Right.
we and that's part of why we stack labels to communicate those things. Like, boy dyke
Right.
and girl fags and shit. Like it's great.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, don't ignore first encountered bi lesbian piss course in the fucking Doctor Who fan community. It's like a mold infecting all queer communities. Yep. And I do think
Cursed.
I think the way that this stuff works is like I think it is the op in your brain, but I also think it's like so much of this discussion has been molded over the past, since the internet has existed. Um by it I don't a lot of the times I don't think it's like, that picture of the cop sitting there on the internet like as a lesbian like as a lesbian I like it's more like just artificially bolstered, like the discussion is so much like molded by forces that are artificially bolstering stuff, and some of that is like not even like it's not even the CIA, it's just fucking Twitter's algorithms are want you to get mad at people. And so, all that stuff is built into the fucking algorithms themselves where it's like it doesn't even need a person to fucking push the scales. Like,
Right. Yeah. It kind of goes back to that thing we were just talking about with self-diagnosis, where it's like we don't need an op to get people clutching their pearls and worrying about interlopers invading in queer spaces or invading in disabled spaces who don't really deserve the label because they haven't suffered enough. As if we want to be as rare and small of a group as we can possibly be.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of us think that way because of just like centuries old cultural messaging that says that suffering is good and you have to earn your right to do anything via suffering enough, and that you shouldn't trust anybody who says that they're suffering unless they've really proven that they've suffered enough, because
Yeah.
you know, they're trying to take advantage of the system when really it's actually that we're stronger together, and recognizing commonality in each other's experiences is a good thing. Um,
Yeah.
and so yeah, and so I think that's where you get this sense that people have, that they have to like hoard whatever community or space they have rather than welcome other people into it. Um,
Yeah.
it sounds absolutely Catholic. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
It's
It's
Catholic. It's Puritan as well,
mm-hmm.
in its own different ways, and and I think it's also the fact that even if we are queer, we're still homophobic, we're still transphobic, you know, if we're trans, women are still misogynist, right? So like we hold members of our own groups to impossibly high standards and think that like if the way that somebody else identifies makes me feel uncomfortable, it's their fault rather than
Yeah.
society.
We need a society bumper. The Joker just
Yes.
saying society.
I don't know if he even does in the movie,
I
if
don't
people
think.
just
Yeah.
completely
We'll have to
made
get.
it up.
We'll have to get some like Joker impersonator, right?
Yes. One of my friends asked me, like, does he actually say I am becoming the Joker in the movie?
In my movie that I
That's
made in my
funny.
head.
Where he does cool stuff only and agrees with me about everything.
Yeah.
He did.
And my dad says that he loves me. Oh God. Oh
Universal Illuminator, how did you get banned from Twitter?
yeah.
You said it was a breath of fresh air when I got forced out. I would love to hear about that. And also, that would be a good pivot to when the time I got canceled on Tumblr for bad bisexuality
Oh
stuff.
yeah. We need to. Okay. Yeah. This is.
Okay.
There's
With humility.
new piss course.
All right, I'm gonna share with y'all something that first of all, everything I say in this post I don't agree with anymore. None of the labels that I use myself are even still true, and never really were. I was trying to make them work, and it was a bad take, and I said it poorly, and it didn't need to be said by me.
Can you
So
cry a little bit more when you apologize for that?
hold on, I need to sit on the floor by my bed like Shane Dawson. Hang on.
Oh my God.
Hi guys. Uh, I never thought I would make a video like this, but in 2017, I said that if you were a lesbian, you're legally obligated to be attracted to Neil Cicerega, the Potter Puppet Pals guy.
That's exactly what you said.
Okay, well, I'll pull it up in a second.
I never came on my cat. Never put my
I would
dick.
never do that.
Never put my dick anywhere near my cat. Oh yeah, reverby piano.
Oh my god. Okay. Alright. I'll share this shit. And I do this with a spirit of vulnerability and you know, just in the whatever. Okay. So this was a post. Guys, first I'd like to apologize to Neil Cicerega. I'm sorry for roping you into this. All you ever did was make good music about trucks having sex and cute flash videos about the Potter characters before we knew that they were bad and a thought crime to like. To all the lesbians who were attracted to Neil Cicerega until they found out that he was a man, I'm sorry that I questioned your feelings. I know compet is a real problem, and I've educated myself since then. I read the whole Google document about it.
Oh my God.
Bisexual people. To bisexual people, I'm sorry I said I was bisexual. I just thought it would be cool to be.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. So okay. Okay. So let's dive into the layers here. Um, so somebody reblogged a GIF of Neil Cicerega, whose many accomplishments I've just outlined, and they tagged it. I thought this was a cute butch, and I was gonna thirst follow, but no, it's the Potter Puppet Pals guy again. And somebody just kind of featured that tag and said, "I'm losing my shit at this tag" on a picture of Neil Cicerega, which we'll pull up a picture of what he looks like in a second here. And then my dumbass, okay, this was 2018 actually, and I said, I don't understand this, claiming to be bisexual and non-binary because I thought I was both those things at the time. I'm actually a gay man. But at the time, I was like, I don't understand this. It's so wild to me that for a lot of people, finding out someone is not the gender you thought they were is like an attraction destroying event. So let's unpack what's wrong with it. First, I was informed by Neil Cicerega himself. He reached out to me privately himself to say, just so you know, "It's so wild" as a phrase usually indicates judgment. It's not a passive, just wondering what something is like. It often seems like a condemnation or a judgment or that something is laughable or odd. And so it's understandable that lesbians would say it's weird for you to say it's so wild that they are lesbian.
God, what a fucking king to do this.
That was really nice of him because he was like, listen, because he really picked up on the raw autism.
If anyone fucking would.
KPPK said not that long ago, listen, I was a young man. I was 30 years old, okay? I had just turned 30. I had just turned 30 and I was about to...
Oh, God.
I was just a little birthday boy. Okay, so there's those original ones, and here's me, reblogging it, and then somebody by the name This How I Get Famous replied and said, "I feel like it's not great to be like, it's so crazy that lesbians exist." And that's the distillation of the problem right there.
Yeah.
Like, that's what's wrong with it, that "it's so wild" has that implication of saying that it's so crazy. Asking this question when it does not involve me at all, also unnecessary, unhelpful.
Yeah.
In trying to intellectualize somebody's sexuality, which is not an intellectual enterprise, um, and particularly lesbians who are already pressured to be with men, this was not good.
Yeah.
This was,
We were
and
we were talking about
go
it
ahead.
before, and you said like what you could have done is just ask, like, I don't understand this. Can you, like, this thing? Can someone explain it to me? What that feels like, because it's foreign to me. Like, and then like the things you were wondering about, you could have like talked about in that, from that frame of reference, and it would have been totally normal.
Right. Yeah, and if it wasn't in a way where I'm like challenging the person directly, where I'm just saying like, "Oh, that's so interesting to me that like you could be interested in someone, but then just the way you see them completely changes knowing just that."
Right.
Um, like, what's that? I'd be curious to hear what that feels like for somebody who doesn't, who feels like sharing or something like that. And in fact, I did have a friend of mine, Sarah. Her Tumblr is "Excuse me, that's not canon." She reached out to me back then with like this quote from this book that she was reading, where basically someone was attracted to someone who they thought was a guy, but they weren't super invested in it. And then they found out that this person was actually a trans woman and had just come out. And like the passage in the book was about how like now I could actually love her because I could see her fully as who she was. And it wasn't about any physical transformation, right, or anything. It's about being able to actually appreciate someone as they are, and that changing your attraction and like deepening it.
Mm-hmm.
um, which I was like, okay, that makes sense to me. That's really an interesting, beautiful thing to share, and it's kind of a
Right.
version of this that, like, you know, as a trans person is also easier to wrap my head around rather than, ooh, I thought this person was this gender and they're not,
Right. And
which is
I
sometimes as a trans person harder to understand.
and I have to, yeah, I mean, I have to agree. I'm definitely that kind of bisexual, or I'm like, people are hot. I don't understand why you would not be attracted to someone because of their gender. I just like all of the people. But so I get what you were thinking about. But yeah, somebody says, is this streaming career your quote post canceled tour like your Chappelle?
Yeah, I'm a big fan of canceling yourself first.
Yeah. Ugh.
So,
Up
yeah.
yours, woke moralists.
Oh, I'm just asking questions, okay? Um, Panuli, please abuse the clip. We would love for people to make clips. Anything you think is cute or
Yes.
fun that you want to share, or, I like posting things onto socials to, get more people watching the streams. So, like, it does store it all on Twitch so that we can see it and download it and other people can see it, but go for it. Please abuse it. That would
Yes.
be a gift.
So and to see the full VODs, um you can go back that we actually highlight the entirety of each one of the Twitch streams, so you should be able to watch them on Twitch forever. Finding them
Mhm.
is very weird on Twitch. I don't understand because there's clips and highlights and it's like, but we also have a YouTube channel that we upload the full VODs as much as we can because we've had copyright issues.
Copyright sometimes. Yeah. Yeah, like they wouldn't let us post the Gorillas Coco Melon for gay people.
Yeah. So,
But yeah. Oh,
thank you
thank
for
you for clipping the little birthday boy clip, Panuli. Oh my God. That'll be
Oh
useful in a lot of
god.
situations. It was literally 2 days after my birthday. I'm going through my Saturn return. Let me break down for you guys just how insane this is. A month before I wrote this horrible post, I wrote Laziness Does Not Exist, the essay, the most successful piece of writing in my life, read by 3 million people. And I also wrote the one of my first autism essays that kind of also
Wow.
changed the course of my life. A month after this, I started T, changed my name, and got a full time job for the first time in my life. Um, and in between those two pivotal life experiences, I made a really stupid post.
Yeah. I genuinely do think that like, and I think this is like I mean even though it was dumb, it's pretty small on the, like, if we're talking about like actual cancelable shit, like it's you know, it wasn't super racist or something, but I really do think that like it's so much about like fucking learning from that, and there's so many people who say way stupider shit, and I'm just like, literally, if you had fucking got why you were wrong and like talked to the people that were affected, like I wouldn't care. Like, you know,
Right.
I love to talk about like the McElroy's arc, where it's like they fucking talked about, like, in one of their first 10 episodes they talked about, like, they were making jokes about furries, and Justin was literally like burned the building down with furries in it and was talking about that for a long time. And
Right.
they got it. Like, somebody on the people on the forums were like, this is fucked up. And they were like, yeah, that was fucked up. I should have said that and I didn't know what I was talking about. And they fucking, you know, they're definitely not perfect, but they have like coming from that to the point that they're at now is like, you know, and
Right.
that could be
And it
you.
invites a lot of helpful conversations, like they're
Yeah.
like an everyman for a lot of reasons, and it's a good entry point for like normalizing those kind of conversations and learning. Like,
Yeah.
and I've learned a lot over the years from having a lot of, like, lesbians have just always had my back in life. Anytime I've been doing something fucked up, there's been like several lesbians who have been my friends through it. Um,
Good.
and like, like, I don't know, but like, also have had a lot of people explain to me the unique pressure of, like, it's just not the same thing. Like, there isn't quite a compulsory heterosexuality for gay guys that operates in quite the same way, the way that, like,
uh,
women who are not interested in men, who are like lesbian aligned, whatever, like, feel this pressure even inside their own heads to convince themselves they could theoretically be with a man. And so that's part of why this particular situation to be asking that question. It's pretty,
Bad
you know,
take.
not helpful. And it was really good for me to know that context and that legacy of shit, like unironically, you know.
Yeah.
Um,
It's like the thing where
um,
it's like bisexual men are always assumed to be actually gay and faking and like pretending to be bi, and bi women are always assumed to be actually straight and just right, because it's like the dick is just so, men's dick is
mhm,
just so powerful that like no matter who you are, you're assumed to like want that.
right. Is my screen still shared, or are we back in like conversation
We're back in
mode?
conversation. It kind of freaked out when I changed back from your screen share, so I'm sorry.
Oh, do I need to? If maybe it's because I'm still hit. Oh, does it like just look janky? Do I need to like?
Oh no, it's fine. It's just I had to change the framing of some things is all.
Oh, okay. I was just my like response post after I got called out for that shit. I have this whole long thing where I'm kind of explaining part of why I'm confused by this stuff because especially at that point in time, I got a lot of, and this is something I've talked about before, got a lot of sexual attention from women and lesbian aligned people who, and that was very upsetting, right? So that being part of why I wonder about this shit. But then I end with this absurd thing, and this is what Neil C. Sariga shared on Twitter. Nobody's sexual orientation is wrong or bad. Nobody should feel obligated to remain attracted to Neil Cicerega after realizing he's a man. All I'm saying is,
I didn't realize you
and then,
actually said that.
and then he cut it off. He just posted just that part. And he anonymized it, which, behavior.
Oh man. Imagine if he didn't and you just like fully got can't actually canceled for that. Oh my
Yeah, when
god.
nobody had heard of me or anything like that would be I would be the Neil Cicerega lesbian guy.
Just
Hold on, oh my god,
being
here's
yeah, instead of being dad, that'd be your
yeah. I'm
being
gonna
dad
just
moment.
send you the link of it because it's fucking hilarious. Such.
Oh wait, what?
Oh, does it? Maybe it's because. Oh shit! Hold on. Oh, it's because it's a Google image thing. I'll just send you the image instead. So I really started some piss course back in the day, basically.
uh, yep. Meanwhile, on Tumblr, there's a post with 22,000 notes about how I look like a butch lesbian, recently devolved into discourse. Nobody should feel
And that's
obligated.
my writing right
Oh
there.
my god. That's so
All
fucking
I'm
good.
saying is I'm fascinated.
Oh god.
So thank you everyone for going on that journey. Drink up.
Let's should we do a freak of the week before we do.
Yes, we need one.
All right. So let's should we should do the bat one.
Oh yes, yes.
So I meant to like actually Google image search all of these and like find all of the species, but I
I
think
can go through some of them and then yeah,
yeah, we're just gonna
because
have
my
to
Bat
use your
Conservation
brain.
International brain.
Yeah, you're our Google for this one.
Thank you for being here, Callisto. Oh, I forgot to shout out the one thing you said about no more labels. We just call each other slurs and suck hog.
I didn't. Yeah, that's extremely important and what we need.
Labels are over. We're calling each other slurs and sucking hog only from now on.
Yes.
God
So
bless.
I'm scrolling all the way through my Twitter or my Tumblr. How long ago was that?
Ooh, it was a minute.
Here it is.
I
Okay.
just can't. Okay.
So
I meant to take a drink after I heard the piss course sound.
Here, I'll share my screen too. So you can see what's happening. All right, so there was this very good post from Weaver Z on Tumblr. That is, I've decided that all bats fall somewhere on this horrid little graph that I've devised. Here are some prime examples of the various creature varieties found in nature, and those are. Will you read out these very good axes?
Yes. So this is a political compass. From left to right, we have those ferratu to high doggy, and then so that's kind of a spectrum of creepiness, and then we have kind of a gargoyle to little cute mouse spectrum, which goes from El Wee Wee for the little guys to the Hear It Hurgling.
Hear it hurgling.
And I will never forget that phrase ever again in my life.
Hear it hurgling. And somebody owned by the Void really upped the fucking shit and added a billion more. So
Oh my god.
first of
Okay.
all, how many of these can you name?
Okay, so right in the middle, you have the Mexican free-tailed bat with the big ears. Then right above that to the right, that's the horseshoe bat, kind of in the right corner. Yeah, that's that. And then going kind of um, like I know almost all of the like high doggy ones. So the kind of black one right below it to the right,
Mm-hmm.
that's the greater flying fox.
Yeah.
I believe right, yeah, that guy, flying fox. Love those 6 foot wingspan, from Australia. I believe immediately below that on high doggy, that is the Egyptian fruit bat, also known as Stella Luna. For
Oh.
those of you who've read that book,
Oh yeah, I remember that.
if it's not that, it's a similar fruit bat. I could be wrong on that one. The little colorful one next to it is the bumblebee bat.
Oh god.
Love those guys. Very beautiful. Um, then you have right below that to the left, that is the Myotis lucifungus, the little brown bat.
You even know
A
the
very
god. Oh.
scientific name.
Oh my god.
The other, that tiny one, that's the smallest bat species. I don't think it's the bumblebee bat. I think the bumblebee bat is bigger. Let me look that up.
It's
I'm
the
curious.
I've seen pictures of it before because people always compare it to a cotton ball.
Those are the Honduran tent building bat. I meant the other little guy on the finger. I can't remember his
Oh,
name,
right,
but
all the way at the bottom.
yeah, but the little white cotton ball ones are the Honduran tent building bat. Um, the other one, I can't remember the name of the tiniest guy. It might be that that's the bumblebee bat, and then the patterned one has a different name. Um, then in the middle of the those Ferratu spectrum, that's your classic vampire bat.
He's
That guy.
all the
Hmm.
way those Ferratu. Those
Yeah,
Ferratu.
that's the most those Ferratu. Um, those are, and then I know the one between the Mexican free tail and the little brown bat. I know that I think that's the hoary bat, Hoary. So right below the center one.
Oh
Yeah, that
yeah,
guy.
the it looks like he's covered in snow kind of cuz he's got
Mm-hmm.
like
Yeah,
little white ends of his fur.
yeah. So those are all the ones I know just off the dome.
You really need to brush up on your hear it hurgling and those Ferratu like
I know.
species. So, okay, so I do have the technology. Let's see if this uh, will work.
Yeah.
Because
Oh, Sweaterline says it's hoary like hoarfrost. That's clever. Okay, cool.
what is
Nice insight.
hoarfrost?
Hoary.
What is hoarfrost? I'm not actually familiar.
I'm okay. Oh wow. Oh god, the Google Lens search inside the image. It's gonna be so.
Okay, yeah. So let's start with, well, we're gonna do a few of these. So
Yeah.
let's start with one that you let's start with one in this sort of
Yeah,
corner
let's
over
look at this
here.
quadrant.
Do
Yeah.
you do you have one of these friends that you want to learn more about?
Only the middle, the like bottom one in that grid, the center of the Nosferatu. That's definitely the vampire bat. Um,
Do we want
the classic vampire bat.
I want to know more about this guy. He
Yeah, let's
looks
hear about
like
these Hergles.
he looks like he looks like a hairy big-eyed bat. Is that looks different.
Oh,
Well,
yeah, that looks like him.
well this one
Yeah, hairy big-eyed bat.
is that him? Look at this stub
Oh
of a
my.
fucking Wikipedia article even.
The hairy big-eyed bat is a fucking freak.
Yeah, we don't know shit about this guy.
Oh, Sweater Alliance says hoarfrost is when fog makes frost on everything.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
Oh, very
that's
cool.
cool. Oh my god, some of these guys I've never even seen before. Oh,
Yeah, I wonder if they're like newly discovered or something. Look at this guy. He's
oh my
much more cuter when
god.
you can see his all of his. I mean, they're very the hurgling guys are very cute, but in a non-traditional way. But like
In an
what
ugly way.
right, when you can see all how cute their fur is, it's much more traditionally cute even.
Yeah, he looks so cute and opened up there. He just looks calmer rather than. He doesn't even seem like he's hurgling.
Yeah.
He seems happy.
Yeah, clearly there's not a ton on these boys.
Oh my god. Look at his little testosterone dick nose.
God, you're so right. I don't.
Kid.
Oh, so little known about these guys.
Is he even real?
All right, let's
Yeah, let's identify another one. Another creature.
maybe on the other side of the hurgling spectrum.
Yeah, any
European
other Hercles?
free-tailed bat.
Oh.
Oh gosh, look at him.
Oh my god, yes. I've definitely seen that one photo of him, the black photo of him.
The black
Because
background one.
That's a Merlin Tuttle photo for sure.
Damn, you even know the photographers. Look at
Merlin Tuttle is like the name in bats for sure.
is he the one that like invented bat houses?
I don't know if he invented bat houses, but he started Bat Conservation International and he like discovered or whatever a lot of or was like the first person to photograph a lot of different species
Look how fucked up it looks
throughout the
in that
world.
one.
He looks so dirty.
Yeah. Okay, we got more than a stub here. Sometime other common names include the bulldog bat and the mastiff bat.
Oh, the Mastiff bat. Okay, that's what I know it as. Yeah.
Um, Roosts by day in crevices and cliffs, rocky gorges, under overhangs, in holes in tall buildings, under roof tiles, or under stone bridges. Flies at a great height with swift, direct flight, not exhibiting the sudden twists and turns shown by many other bat species.
Oh, wow.
Seldom needs to drink. When it does drink, it scoops up water from a pond or river while flying low over the surface. Fucking dive
Yeah.
bombing the water.
Oh my God, have you not seen the bats that fish that way? Like
No.
the frog eating bat and stuff? Yeah, there's whole uh bats that like they subsist on frogs and fish. The bulldog bat is one of them.
Bats fishing. I'm not gonna do National
In fact,
Geographic.
he might be one of the hurglers.
Which one? What is it called?
Um, Either the fisherman bat or the greater bulldog bat.
Let's
Oh,
see.
there's also the Mexican fishing bat. Those are the guys that like they have way like sharper teeth.
Oh yeah, here we go.
One of the largest bats in Costa Rica is one of the most easily seen. The great. They snag small fish as they come to the water's surface. Their echolocation detects.
I'm afraid this might be National Geographic.
Oh yeah, good call.
Look at them though. Oh yeah, that's wild. Literally.
Oh, Panuli's sharing in the chat about having had a bat inside.
Oh,
Jealous. Oh,
that's
look at that. Ooh.
there he goes.
Beautiful.
I have this very specific memory of being a very small child, extremely upset by something. Like I was like sobbing, crying in my mom's room. I have no idea what it was, but it was like big deal, sobbing, crying in my mom's bed. My mom was like there talking to me about it. And I kept thinking I was seeing something. And then finally we realized that there was a bat in the room flying around in circles in the room. Like I'm having this like breakdown, like crying and sobbing. And then we just realized that there's a bat and we had to like take care of it. Like, you know, get it
Oh
out of the
no.
house. Oh.
Oh man. Well, a baby goth comforted
Yes,
when you needed it
I
most,
really
you know?
did.
And Chubby Kumquat, just because you mentioned rabies, I just have to say that dogs infect 15 times more people with rabies in a year than bats do in 20 years.
Mm-hmm.
And the anti-bat lobby and the fear of rabies has led to so many bats being killed unnecessarily at a time when they're already rapidly dying due to white nose syndrome.
Yep.
And so it's anti-bat propaganda. Of course, any mammal can carry rabies, though. So you know you shouldn't touch a wild animal. Don't get it twisted.
Yeah.
But
Be careful, but also
they got a bad rep.
um uh yeah. I want to see these fucking guys because they're so cute. What are these? The little puffball guys? Grumpy bat? No, that's just what they're
Grumpy bat?
Northern
That can't
ghost
be.
bat.
Oh, the ghost bat. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, look at this fucking guy. Is this more of him? No, it's
Oh my God. Yes. So yeah, similar coloring to the Honduran tent building bat, but the Honduran are they're smaller.
look at this fucking guy. Just
Oh my God.
just a real premium. Wait, what is this? Those aren't real. Okay. Those somebody made those.
No, those are yeah, those are.
I was like, what is that color?
That happens sometimes. People will pass around an Etsy craft thinking it's a real animal.
I mean, props to those Etsy people.
Yeah.
Look at this fucking guy. Grumpy cotton balls.
Yes. And then if you look at the Honduran tent building bat, they're the ones that like all sit under a leaf together.
Oh no!
Yes.
Oh, look at
So they're cotton
them!
balls who are friends.
Oh no! Look at them! They got little piggy noses. Oh.
Yes. Uh, I think it was KPPK mentioned like I should make a bat. I'm becoming a bat furry. Like,
Yeah,
there's a
yeah,
lot
yeah,
of good
yeah.
options.
We didn't mention this in the stream, but that is definitely a big part of why I wanted to do this because I'm like Fursona inspiration stream.
Absolutely. Freak meetup at Furfest.
Yeah. Okay, let's see if we can find a video of these guys. Durin White Bat, is that right? What is it?
Or the ghost bat. I know you were.
They're both. Oh,
Yeah, they're both cutie booties.
Here's
Ooh, yeah. Looks like them in there.
oh no. Look at these
Oh my.
fucking little guys. Let's see if there's.
They're moving. They're so cute. They're wiggling.
So these adults?
Yeah. Those are grown boys. They just got roommates.
uh,
Sniffing and snorgling.
oh my fucking god! Look at those babies. Yeah, see that thumbnail is the one that gets shared as one of these guys a lot.
Right.
Oh, here's some
Yeah.
northern ghosts.
The northern
Ooh, yeah. The northern ghost bat won't scare you.
Look at him!
He's just hanging out. Oh my god. His face is like.
Resting bitch face for sure.
He's so cute. Oh my god, look at that face. He's so innocent.
And the
Oh,
little
the ears wiggling.
uh-huh. Oh my god. Oh wow.
God, he's beautiful.
Yeah.
That's a show bat.
Yeah.
Breathing so fast.
Yeah. What is that little butt? Not. I thought it was his pingus. What is this little butt?
Yeah, what is this? What are we looking at? Sir, what's going on with your junk?
Is it on your butt? He's a dick butt.
Beautiful. Oh, there he is,
Ugh.
hanging out. God.
Okay. God. Really good.
What a sweet boy.
So I want to start before we lose time. We don't have enough time for it. I want to talk about our final, not entirely piss course, but it's we're still putting it in here. We'll get like a book report bumper is one we need too. Because you have a little book report for us.
Oh yeah. Oh, we'll have a final freak KPBK for sure. We'll keep this shorter and leave some time for freaks for sure.
Yeah.
But I went to a little website called libgen.rs and I downloaded myself a copy of Prince Harry's memoir Spare, and I read that whole thing. And it's actually quite long. I don't know how many pages it translates to, but it was like 7,000, turns on Kindle, which is a lot.
God.
Normally a book's like a few thousand. And okay, well, hopefully y'all have seen some of the discourse about it. Oh, you submitted a freak? Was it Panuli? Was it in the Tumblr or the?
Yeah, we have
because I did just get one today.
we have so many
So many beautiful freaks.
so many beautiful freaks, and we will like we said we'll do one more the snail one. All right, that'll be our final freak, and please keep submitting them because there's so many we didn't get to. Yeah, there are and we're gonna try to do one most weeks, if not every week.
Yeah, it'll be a recurring segment. I don't think we're gonna run out of freaks. And KPPK requested a audio description of the next freak because they'll be at the grocery store.
Okay, perfect.
But yes, so I read Prince Harry's memoir for a couple of reasons. One, I love The Crown. That show. It's bad, but
I thought you're just saying like, you hate capitalism and like you're always fighting against,
I'm a communist monarchist.
They exist probably.
Google it. Yeah. No. I love the show The Crown because I love beautiful gowns and period pieces and and 90s nostalgia and all of these things, and it's so campy. And Spencer, that we're what's her name, Kristen Stewart plays Princess Diana, is so deliciously campy. I love
Mm.
this shit. It's trash for me that I am a hog at the slop for. It's for our what percentage of the book is about his Pingus. It's about it, like, well, we'll get into that, but he does talk a fair amount. So anyway, and then I also saw people posting this clip from the book where he talks about how he put Elizabeth Arden cream on his dick, and the second he opened the container, it smelled like his mom was in the room, and then he put it on his dick. Um,
He was asked, someone suggested that he do it because it would help with his frostbite, right?
yes, that's the backstory, is that he was climbing like the Himalayan mountains, and he got very bad frostbite on his dick, and it was really persisting for weeks and weeks, and he was having to go through to all these royal events, and his dick was just killing him. And so somebody recommended he put Elizabeth Arden cream on it, and so he opened it, had these memories of his long dead mother. Oh, thank you for the follow, Great Lake.
Yeah, thank you.
And then he
Perfect
put it
time.
on his dick.
I'm just imagining that clip, which is, oh, this is another good clip to have as a bumper. Jeremy Fragrance smelling the ghee, like. Except that, but it's fucking.
Fuck. And he's like coming from it.
It's that, but it's fucking shit that makes him think of his mom, and then he puts it on his
Mhm.
dick.
He would,
Oh
because anytime
god.
things for Jeremy Fragrance get dicey, he just goes back to Romania with his grandma, and he just eats like pickled eggs for a while and
Oh,
kind of calms down, but cleans out a little bit,
yeah.
sweats out the cocaine. Anyway, so I open up this book, and like the beginning of the book starts with God, what's Queen Elizabeth's husband's name?
Oh, I don't
Fuck, not
fucking.
Charles. Oh my God, I've completely blanked on his name. But his at his funeral, and the royal family kind of fight. Philip, thank you, Sweater Alliance. It's at Philip's funeral, and this is kind of when fights were beginning to really pop off in the family, and Prince Harry and Meghan Markle had like left and stuff, and so it starts with this kind of like fight between him and his brother and Prince Charles and all of this shit, and then it flashes back to when he's a kid, and his few memories of his mom before she gets in the car accident, and all of that stuff is your standard memoir fare, right? That's the shit that readers want to hear about. They want to hear about the people's princess, and they want to hear about the funeral and his trauma and what memories, if any, he has of her. And of course, this whole book is ghost written. Um, uh, and so the ghostwriter does some really smart things, because you're having to take someone who is not a writer, someone who is not well read, as evidenced by the fact that he quotes William Faulkner from brainyquote.com.
And says, "Who the fuck is Faulkner?"
Yeah, he says, when I discovered the quote, "the past isn't gone, it's not even past," or something like that, from William Faulkner on brainyquote.com a few weeks ago, I was stunned. Like, he was clearly like looking up quotes about the past on brainyquote.com, and
Oh,
he decided to put that in his book.
oh god.
And so the ghostwriter's having to deal with the fact that they're dealing with a very not literate person who did not, he's just not an intellectual. He has whatever you want to say about him, that's not his deal. And so, the writer, like, again, this is all ostensibly Prince Harry, but the ghostwriter like does little things like saying, "I can't remember exactly what was said or how this conversation occurred. I can't remember if it was this night when we had this to eat or if it was that night, but I do remember the layout of this room." And then he'll describe these palaces in elaborate detail that are all the layouts of which and the decor of which and the furniture of which are very public knowledge that are very well documented. Just like when you're a writer and you're trying to like do research on a fictional setting, and you like pull, or a historical setting, and you pull details that are documented from museums and stuff.
Right, but no, it's he has a really good memory for places. He doesn't remember any of the
Right,
other shit, but he
right.
remembers all the
Yeah, as
shit
it
that the ghostwriter could totally Google.
could look up. online. So that's very clever that he says like he has a mind that's very like for layouts and geometries and remembering locations of and layouts of buildings rather than things that were said and done. It's like, okay, great. I see what you're doing here.
Yeah.
And he talks about you know, when his mom died, he believed allegedly that she had just disappeared to get away from the press and seemingly believed that, you know, she had just run away and that she would come and find him and get him back at some point when it was safe for her to do so. Because he was, you know, preteen at the time and kind of just kept believing that as long as he could kind of sustain it until he was in his late teens and made the crown, made the royal family kind of like show him pictures of her accident and body and stuff like that. And he
God.
sees this picture of her kind of smashed against the window, and she doesn't have any external physical injuries, so he convinces himself, oh, maybe this is still faked, maybe she's still alive. But there's this like halo of light around her from the broken glass and then the flashes of cameras of people
God.
taking pictures of the body.
Ugh.
So so that was actually like, you know, that's the kind of stuff if you're reading a book like this, that's what you're there for, you know, like
Yeah.
you're sympathetic to him or you're interested in the kind of lore and you're hearing those kind of stories. But to get there, you know, you have to go through like 70 pages of him talking about like how when he went away to boarding school as a kid, each one of them is assigned their own like nurse matron who would like comb their hair and check them for lice. There was just this constant lice problem, and he would like get hard-ons from like the nurses combing his hair looking
Oh,
for lice.
why? Why did we need to
But
know that?
my boy does not have a filter. It's very funny. Because he's just talking about his adolescent sexual awakening or pre-adolescent sexual awakening, getting combed for lice.
It's funny because that's what the ghostwriter should be, is the filter, but clearly like there wasn't enough shit that was actually interesting. Right? Because if there was enough shit that was actually interesting, they wouldn't like, you know, put that shit in there. But clearly just was like, well, I guess I gotta dip into the fucking horny.
Horny stuff, and it didn't need to be that long, and so that's the
Yeah.
really weird thing. I can't overstate that. Like, so it goes through a lot of his childhood stuff, and it's stuff that, you know, it's just stuff like that, you know, adolescent hijinks and problems he's getting into, and you know, clearly acting out as somebody who's like, you know, grieving a lost parent and just isn't good at school but has to go through school longer than he otherwise. If he was just a regular British like chap, he would have had a completely different school path, but he had to go to Eton, this really like prestigious school, when he like was just not that was just not his strengths or what he was interested in. And you know, so then he was just like fucking people in fields outside of pubs, and like he lost his virginity to a MILF, we learn about, which great, love that for him. But then maybe 60% of the book is devoted to his tour in Afghanistan,
Right.
and it is a slog, baby. Not only because of obviously having problems with the war in Afghanistan and not
Yeah. How is that
like buying into it.
how is that treated? Like does he talk about that at all? Because I can't imagine it's like, I feel like if he was like, yeah, the war was really bad and they should have done it, I feel like I would have heard that.
Yeah, no, no, because he was really someone who was like very directionless, you know, acting out a lot of times, getting drunk, wore a Nazi uniform to a party, and the way he describes that is just like, oh, we all had a laugh. Kate thought it was funny. My brother thought it was funny. We didn't really think about it. And then I had to go meet with a rabbi, and I learned a lot from him about the Holocaust, and I'm very sorry. And isn't it an indictment of the British education system that nobody taught me about the Holocaust before this? This isn't just about me, you know.
That was after he
Um,
went to Eton, right?
after he went to Eton, and I just feel like probably in England they probably do talk about the Holocaust. I don't know. I don't know. They probably do, considering that his grandfather or his great uncle abdicated the throne because he was dating a Nazi. Um,
Oh my god.
he probably has heard of the Holocaust. Um,
Have you ever heard
which
of
seems like
Jews? I'm unfamiliar.
But
Ugh.
so he really wanted to be in the military because he wanted to have a very active lifestyle because that was the one thing that kind of kept him from thinking about, you know, the trauma and like, he was very like don't think, stay active. And so he's like, I want to fly jet planes, I want to shoot the Taliban and all this shit.
God.
And so he was really fighting and fighting and fighting to get the right to be on the front lines and actually carry a weapon. And so it is very, every now and then he'll talk about critiques of colonialism and how he can understand why people would hate his family. Like he'll acknowledge those things, but then he'll be like, I was so proud to serve with these brave men and women, preserving freedom and fighting against the Taliban. I killed 25 people, you know. He was like on the front lines, and then he had to get sent back because he was drawing a lot of fire because he was famous, and then he started um, he got certified to drive Apache drones, and he killed a bunch of people with the drones, and he
God.
just completely talks in just is it being a really wonderful. I mean, not that he liked killing people or anything like that, like, but like your usual jingoistic, patriotic kind of shit, and these proud men and women, and how this was like the most fulfilling period of his life.
Wow.
Um, and then, and that's like the majority of the book. A huge portion of the book is like 2/3 of it is him just talking about like the war and war stories and all this shit. And then it talks about a few different girls that he dated who broke up with him because they didn't want to be famous. And then a few other dumb things he said, and his penis getting frostbite when he's climbing mountains. And then it gets into the stuff with Meghan Markle and the royal family and their racism in like the last like 50 pages maybe, and
God.
like it does not get to the dirt, which again, this might be the ghostwriter and Penguin Random House saying legally we can't cover this stuff, the royal family's going to sue our asses into hell.
Yeah.
um, and and it's really weird how he describes a lot of the stuff. Like he'll just talk about their courtship, and that's all normal and cute, and she was on Suits and here was their first date and they had a picnic and he loved her dogs. Lots of details, normal details. And then then we get married, and then all of a sudden they flash forward 9 months, and the family's complaining about how Meghan Markle is starting problems, being rude to staff, and it's just him being in a conversation, being confused, hearing this, like it, like he like skips, and like he'll have fights with his family, but he will only describe, I was so angry, I was so confused, how could they not understand how much the paparazzi were attacking us. um, but he never describes what another person's point of view is
Yeah.
in this way that's like, I can't remember what they said, I was just so angry at them. And it's like, and I say this as someone who's like, if I have to pick a side, obviously the royal family is racist and treated Meghan Markle like shit.
Right.
Obviously the paparazzi and the press is racist, and like, but it's just the way that he thinks and writes. He can't ever describe himself as anything but like a victim that's being cornered by critique he can't even understand because he won't even listen to it. So it's just like,
Even though
this man
you
is not
agree
deep.
with even with when you agree with him, you're finding his arguments unconvincing. Like
Yeah, that was the weird thing. Yeah, that I expected it to be like, I don't know, like I love my wife posting the book. I love my mom. I love my wife. Praise Jesus, God, my wife posting, and I was like, I'm here for that. That's great.
right.
Uh, and yet it made me like, not Meghan Markle, but made me look at him more as like, you keep making mistakes in your life and not seeing your own role in it at all. Like, and then you just talk about how you wish you could be back in like battle. It's
And
like,
this
okay.
is your book. Like
My dog, this is your book. You can tell your side of the story. You can
my
advocate for yourself.
my brother in Christ, you wrote the book.
My brother in Christ, you chose to write about this. Yeah, and he just talks about how much he hates the paparazzi over and over again without going any further than that. It's just like they're all evil, satanic people without understanding any kind of like, why is this happening?
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
what motivates them? You know, and it's like, if you hate being a royal so much, why wouldn't you be anti-monarchy too? Like, you guys hate being in this shit, and everybody hates you for being in it.
Yeah.
So why do it? I don't
And it sounds
understand.
like he even like acknowledges, some of the bad parts and then just doesn't. He's like, "Yeah, I understand why people would think this is bad." Anyway, so I really had a lot of fun killing all those Arab people in my helicopter.
Yeah, like there's this moment where like they go to see the crown jewels because they have to pick out a tiara for Meghan Markle to wear to their wedding, and he says these are all blood diamonds. They were stolen from Sierra Leone. People have wanted to get these back, and they're so beautiful. And anyway, my wife got this tiara with emeralds on it.
It was fucking dope, man. She like so hot with it on, and then she combed my hair, and I came.
Yeah, and then I came. It's like it's just yeah. So that's my book report on Spare by Prince Harry. Really, you don't need to read it. Just watch The Crown or something, or like if you're into that kind of shit, you know.
God. We had some really good wild by WLD_by_nature on Instagram for good opossum content. I'm gonna have to follow that because it's really good. I have seen a couple far away, and it's always a delight.
They're angels and freaks.
They're my kin. Yeah.
And there are so many good animal live stream channels on Twitch, I'm finding also.
Oh yeah.
For anyone who's wondering. Q Bunny TV, Chinchilla_24/7. That's just one single chinchilla.
God.
They only ever have one viewer, and it's me. And Fluffletown is another good one. So if you want live animal content.
Can we just someday do a stream that's just maybe we talked about this already, but just like a dump truck chinchilla stream that's just you hanging out with dump truck?
Yes.
Okay,
yeah,
good.
I thought about bringing him on for this one. It's like, oh, I'll have to wrangle him and
yeah. We'll do a stream for that specifically. Maybe you can set up in your bathroom or something. Like
yes.
I don't know if you still do that.
Yeah. That's always a good place to let them out. Please, my little brother is obsessed with chinchillas. Oh yes.
Chinchillas are really good.
So we have a snail we need to.
Yeah. So was that in Panuli where you asked? Where was your request? Was that in in Devin's Tumblr ask box?
Let me double check.
I don't remember a snail. So
yeah, Helgamites. That seems like that's a. Oh, okay. Limax maximus, leopard slugs. I assume that's it, right? The leopard slugs.
Ooh, this is a good boy. Specifically them fugging.
Good. I love learning about different animals' mating rituals.
Literally biggest slug.
Limax maximus. Wow, they're so pretty. They got leopard print.
Yeah. Oh wow. Look at all the different colors they can be.
Google leopard slugs fucking trust me, bro.
Okay, yeah, this is what I wanted is that's how big they are. They're fucking large.
Oh yeah, we have to see a sense of scale. Yeah. I bet they feel so good.
Okay, I think yeah. Okay, I think I've heard about this. Yeah, they like let's see if we can find a video of this.
Oh my god.
Oh yes.
It's beautiful.
We have to that's right, we have to describe this. So they're big slugs with leopard print.
Yeah, the leopard print, they don't look that wet. They look kind of matte, like a little muscle. And when they fuck, it looks like they swirl around each other like a twisty freeze ice cream cone. But then there's this weird glowing cum coming out of their mouths or something. I don't know what I'm looking at there. Or if it's a shell or what. Some iridescent shit. Oh, here we go.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so they're swirled around each other and they're like rotating. And is that a tongue? Is that a proboscis? There's some weird shit coming out of their mouth or
They
some
look like
orifice.
little mini worms.
Yeah, they have like a whole other iridescent slug, each coming out of their heads and sliming down to each other.
I believe it's called a fuck vortex. It's for our.
It sure appears to be so. Oh my god, and the fuck tongues are like,
Yeah, see, it's not there coming out of their mouth because you can see their little mouth, guys. Oh, they're like.
yeah, it's like a side hole in their head. And now the clear iridescent things are swirling around too. And now those
They're
things are all
so
wrapped around each other
they're so
and
long and
spinning.
like they look like they're glowing blue.
This is like how they have sex in Avatar with their braids.
Yes, that's literally what I was thinking. I would be very unsurprised if this was like part of the inspiration for that, but that is
Yeah, they
far less horny than this.
yeah, this is so sensual. This is like tantric, the
Yeah.
way these slugs are fucking. They're like completely curled around each other, and it's like they have their dicks, their head glowing spectral ectoplasm dicks wrapped around each other. Oh, they were Mollusk of the Year in 2018. Thanks.
Freak of the
Freak of the
year.
Year. That's so funny.
Wow,
Oh my
that's just
god.
enrapturing.
When do they nut? How does this? I don't understand who's impregnating whom here,
Well, I think
or who's.
they might be hermaphroditic. Actually, I think I've heard that. Let's check out this other video because this one looks like.
The bottom thing is called a lampshade, Panuli says.
I'm gonna turn them. This looks like it could be a rip from
Yeah.
a real video. Thank you for following,
Yeah.
Maxi Mail.
Maximalox.
Yeah,
Maximalox.
yeah.
This person said, slugs fucking, I'm in.
um,
Oh my god, it's just
thank you,
like this
Measuring Cup.
weird. Oh yeah, thank you, Measuring Cup. It's like this weird snot coming out of them that they can control.
Yeah, I
Oh
would
my god, and the little fingers on the bottom of it.
read a hentai or dojin, of anthropomorphized ones of these,
I would like to experience this.
right?
Cat hair everywhere's cat is transfixed by this video.
Oh, really? I bet it's the spinning. They like this. They like the spinning.
Wow, it's beautiful. It looks like Cirque du Soleil.
Yeah, like they're dancing. Wow.
What the fuck? Now they're like their proboscis have like made like a lampshade shape or like a
Well,
umbrella shape and upside down. Uh,
the
but it's also like an oyster.
the way in which their lampshades are transforming is just mind-boggling. It's like it reminds me of. Oh yeah, and then one just fucking drops off like peace. Doesn't even
Oh
stay for
my
dinner.
god. Wow, it just like shrunk back into a little slug and just fell.
Let's see if we can
What the
read some
hell?
about this. Wikipedia might be too scientific.
Yeah, they won't describe like why is it so freaky.
Mating habits of Limix maximus are considered unusual among slugs. The hermaphrodite slugs court, usually for hours, by circling and licking each other. After this, the slugs will climb into a tree or other high air. So yeah, we didn't even see this like hours long fucking courting session before this.
Wow,
And
the
then
foreplay.
yeah. After this, the slugs will climb into a tree or other high area and then, entwined together, lower themselves on a thick string of mucus, avert their white, translucent mating organs, penises. So they are dicks. They literally, from their gonopores, openings on the right side of the head, Entwine these organs and exchange sperm. Both participants will later lay hundreds of eggs. They're fucking sword fighting. They're literally just sword fighting. They're frauding. They're just frauding.
They their dicks fertilize each other. They have dicks in their heads that fertilize each other. These are amazing creatures, and
Ooh, here. This is
I
the
need
best.
to experience this.
This is the best video yet. Like, why do they... It's so wild the way that the shapes of those things transform.
It's so magical. It's spiritual. And they have no business taking this long to fuck. They fuck longer than anybody.
Yeah, wouldn't this be dangerous? Like, wouldn't this, like... Wouldn't Predator this be, like... A, you know, like a little dangling feast for a bird?
Yeah.
The
Just
way...
swoop it up.
Yes, it's like their dicks have grown like fungus-like ridges, which they didn't have which they don't have when they come out. It must have something to do with surface area.
Yeah. Yeah, it's so wild that they have these like ridged, shape-changing prehensile dicks in their head
For
that
frauding.
for frauding and licking each other and coming on each other. It's astonishing. It's Farrar said, "Is this my slug girl awakening?" Well, it's definitely my slug boy awakening.
Yeah.
Oh my god, is that their eggs? Is that their sperms? Those little orange beads. Oh my god. It's so slow and sensual.
Mm-hmm. They are dicks themselves, and then they have and they're dicks that are frauding that then have dicks that come out and fraud. And the way they're hanging, like, they're hanging by mucus. Like,
Right. Like they make out, get horny, get wet, and then use their wetness to make a sex swing.
yeah, it really is.
It's crazy.
Panuli, there's another great part of this is that there's a viral Tumblr post that's about me that's also slug related. It kickstarted my slug era. You gotta you gotta enlighten us what that's
Yeah,
all about.
yeah, you gotta send us the link.
And this
We
is
gotta know
them
the
later
lore.
with their eggs.
Oh, with their babies. Wow. These guys, if we were descended from these, we wouldn't have war.
It'd be like in did you ever read Left Hand of Darkness?
No.
Oh, Left Hand of Darkness is probably my favorite book. It is about the basically the backstory that they only touch on is that there were like Promethean kind of species in the universe that basically looked like humans, and they seeded human-like species all throughout the galaxy. So there are millions or thousands, I don't know, huge amount of basically humans all over the galaxy, but they basically did like experiments on them, so they modified all of them slightly. So there are species that just have giant wings and can fly around, and there's all different kinds of humans in the universe. Left Hand of Darkness is about one guy. He's a human man who gets sent to this planet where they are basically human, but they are all hermaphrodites. So they go into heat basically, and then they sexually diverge while they're in heat. So and some people have preferences, but generally, like, most people, like, physically they can do both. There's some people that have preferences, but not everybody. And like going into heat, like like it's like a normal thing, and they have like bathhouses where you have sex as a normal thing, and it's really interesting. But the big part of it is that they don't have war. Like they have like fights. Like there is conflict and there is armed conflict, but it's like so unusual for this planet, and it's because there's like kind of the idea is that they just don't have, I don't know, like it's they don't ever explain why that, you know, there's just theories in the book of like why that's the case. But it's a really beautiful book for various reasons, mostly because
Yeah, it
of the
sounds dope.
it's really good, mostly just because of the imagery of it's on this like winter planet, and just the imagery of it, and like the some of the spiritual stuff that they talk about, how like their spirituality is not binary like ours. Like so much of our society is based on binaries, like, you know, the yin yang and all this stuff. It's like kind of fundamental to
Right.
most societies, the way they work. And they just don't have that in the same way. um, anyway, fucking great book.
Wow. Sounds amazing. It reminds me a little bit of this book that God, what was it called? It was about this kind of like this like deaf commune. It was sci-fi, but it was about it's called The Persistence of Vision by John Varley. That's all about this kind of like deaf separatist commune in like the West. It like they kind of just buy like find some land and kind of like partner with like a native like tribe in like Arizona, and like just like have these like orgies, these like, and just like resolve conflict through like just kind of like, you know, it's very like space empathy fucking, you know,
Right.
kind of fantasy, kind of sci-fi, but it's like really like beautiful, kind of like, because that's also how they like smooth out jealousy. Like there's this moment where this guy is like having like sex in this big, you know, communal orgy, and like this girl that he really likes starts having sex with this other guy, and everyone can just sense his jealousy. They can just feel it in his like, you know, as an empath, you know.
And his dick.
And so then
Yeah.
and so the guy he's jealous of comes over and starts like fucking him, you know, and like
Wow.
serve, you know, like sexually servicing him. And it's like all written as like very nice and tender, that it's like, oh no, you have nothing to be afraid of here, buddy. Like we're all,
Wow.
you know. It's really, you know, it's really trippy and cute, and it has like a lot of like interesting just kind of like political ideas. I mean, it's also written by a white guy in the 70s, so it's got plenty of problems
Okay.
too in how
Yep.
it executes that stuff.
Yep.
But but it, you know, it was trying something, you know.
I love those books. Despite I grew up on all of those, on all of those, you know, Isaac Asimov and all
Robert
that.
Heinlein, all that good shit.
Mm-hmm. Uh, okay, let's see if I'm. So, Panuli said that German GF snail, and you'll find it. My GF is German, and she just forgot the word for slug, so she just asked me, "How do you call snails without homes?"
That is so German. That's so cute.
Homeless snails.
How do you call snails without homes?
Is that what your feeding habits is so funny? Known to pursue other slugs at a top speed of 15 centimeters per minute.
High speed chase. Oh, the
Oh,
shells are called house in German. That's adorable.
oh, that's so good.
Y'all, y'all are silly with language. Y'all get really silly with it in
Yeah.
German. I love German.
We fit so much good shit into this stream. This
Yes,
was
we did.
this was very fun. We will definitely we might not do um literally every week, but I'd like to do at like most weeks, and we'll have to do it a little bit shorter. Um,
Hmm.
but so your please keep sending your freaks of the weeks.
Your
We will,
questions, all of
yes.
it. Yeah.
And if you have suggestions, I think freak of the week would be really funny to do with a guest too.
Yes.
With
Have
guests.
people react to freaks. Yes.
Yes.
I think it helps break the ice.
Mm-hmm. So, and
Everybody loves freaks.
everybody loves freaks. Um, Yeah.
Well, thank you for screwing off at work, Chubby Kumquat. That's why we're here.
Yes. Same with Callisto when they were here.
Yes. All right. Well, thank you so much for being here, everyone. I know we
Yes.
have a lot of ideas of shit. I don't know what we're gonna do next week, but we have a lot of shit that we
Yeah.
want to
We
do.
have so much shit. So please let us know
Yeah.
what you like for us to do. If you have ideas for my soundboard, please send them. Yeah. You guys are
Yeah.
fucking amazing. You guys
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you so much for contributing to all of these many conversations about such a weird array of shit.
yeah. From
And now I understand also why people are asking for a Discord because you guys are talking to each other and you want to stay in touch with each other. So I'm like, oh, maybe
yeah.
I'll have to think about that because the chat being so good and y'all all being so cool is an important part of it. So
You have so many people that like have followed you. Like I definitely worried that there was gonna be like, I don't know, weird some of
weird shit.
right, and there just hasn't been because you guys fucking kick ass. Um,
Yeah.
and also share if uh share this with a friend. Share the Twitch, share the VODs, clip. We love people making clips. Share those with a friend. Um,
Yeah. And thanks. Yeah. Thanks for just being here and for everything any of y'all have done from being in the chat to following to subscribing to all that good shit.
mhm.
It's been really nice.
It kicks ass.
Yeah.
This is I think the most fun I've had with a creative, like the most fun and satisfied I've had with a creative project like ever. So this is
Yeah. And you've done such amazing shit for it. It's like crazy. This fucking Freak of the Week shit had me screaming today when you said.
I played it for myself so many times yesterday. Let's get one more freak of the week
One more Freak of the
yeah.
Week. Mm. We're all freaks of the week here.
Yeah. All right. Well, we'll sign off. Thank you again.
Yes.
And
It
we'll
looks like Goop House is not streaming, so I don't know
Oh
if you
yeah,
want to go
they may
into.
have ended cuz I saw they
Oh,
started at 3, so
okay. So maybe we can send people to Fluffletown then.
yes, that sounds perfect. Thank you, Panuli. I
See
am
some.
having so much fun with the aesthetic.
Yes. Yeah, Maddie is just it's such a legend with this shit. It's crazy. It's just
All right. Oh, I probably have to do that, huh?
oh yeah. Maybe I can do it. Yeah.
You're not fun. What is it? Fluffle?
Fluffletown. I can also do it from the dash probably.
Oh, I think Fluffletown? Yeah, I got it. Oh, and there's only
Yeah.
7 people, so we're going to take over this fucking
Yeah.
stream. Perfect.
Yeah. So enjoy these bunnies, everyone.
All right. Perfect. All right. Bye, guys. Now I wait for this
Bye.
weird countdown.
Prepare for buns.
Prepare your buns for buns.
Buns live in your area.